bit, right? I'm losing my boner.
Do you want to grab me a beer from my cooler, por favor?
Por favor, actually.
Si, senor.
Dos cerveza, por favor.
I mean, since you're going over there, I'm just saying. I wasn't gonna ask you for it, but if you're going to, and then I would say get one for yourself, but I don't know if you know this about profiles or not. But dude, 10 years.
Yeah, I remember that. We talked about that.
Last year he was 9 years, but he actually fished the threshold. Thank you, sir.
Take the Camp Vibes one.
Oh, is there another one of these in there?
One more.
I'll trade this one for that one.
Oh, wait.
Well, if not, there's one in there.
If not, there's one in the fridge. No,
that's the same one.
No, okay, no.
There's one in there.
Yeah, I have some in the fridge over there. Will you grab me one, please? Because I got these because of the camp vibes.
How do I navigate this? You can go in front of the camera.
Yeah.
Go in front of the camera. We haven't actually started yet.
We haven't started yet.
Man.
Well, now.
I'm wondering if I should move the. Should we move that eventually sometime over here so that whenever we want to get a beer, Profiles doesn't have to
make it easy for profiles.
make it easier for profile. Yeah.
Yeah, put it.
That's actually good thinking.
Yeah.
Thank you, Profiles. Let me help. There you go.
I think the camera's still good.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. Damn it.
Is that camera going too?
Yeah.
Jeez, there's so many cameras.
I know, dude.
You watch Hot Ones?
Yes.
This camera, this camera, this camera.
Roll out the red carpet.
Tell us what's going on in your life. Yeah. Wait, did you get another beer?
Oh, shit.
Oh, shit, I forgot.
Thank you, Profiles.
I forgot the part.
Oh, shit. Oh, man.
Cheers.
Cheers. Profiles, I wish you drank beer, man. These are good.
It's a real drinkable one.
It's
very, very mild.
Very pisteable.
Yep.
Back in 10 years ago.
Hit me up 10 years ago.
Yep. You got to get him some O'Douls.
Oh, they do make non-alcoholic beers. You know that, yeah?
I do not drink them.
Yeah.
Dude, he
I think
doesn't-
there is technically a little bit of alcohol in them, like a tiny, tiny bit. So.
Either way, it's carbonated. He doesn't drink carbonations.
I drink carbonation? Like not even like bubbly water? Why not? Just.
He's allergic to bubbles, man.
I don't like
That's fair. That's fair.
I don't like it.
There you go. Yeah. Profiles with the mic.
Profiles with a mic.
Yeah.
Welcome to the first episode, ladies, with Profiles with a mic. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, welcome back to, you guys already know, it's your mama's favorite show, your older sister's guilty pleasure, baby, the Go Deeper podcast. This time, returning guest, fucking familiar face to the show, and one a good buddy of mine, Zach from Fish and Forage. Salud, buddy. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
And rolling up in style, might I
Happy
add,
to be
dude.
here. Oh, shit.
Dude, I'm jealous of your truck, and I'm jealous of your hair, a little bit more of your hair, but your truck is nice. Nice shirt, too, by the way. Nice shirt,
right?
by the way.
It's a little
Do
faded.
you see what his shirt says, Profiles? That says PDX Vision right there,
A little
bro.
faded. This is like one of my favorite shirts. Like I grew up with grays and browns and darker colors, and like the last maybe 4 or 5 years, I like bright colors. And this is like, I made this color combo for you, and I was like, I want that one. That's
a nice one.
So like
That's a nice
every
one.
time like I need a new shirt, and if this is clean, I'm like, easy choice.
Dude,
Easy
thanks.
choice.
That's fucking cool. It makes me feel good. It makes me, yeah, I know you like the colors, but I'm going to pretend that it's because it says PDX Vision.
it's not just the colors. It's the logo, too.
There's a
Don't get me
logo.
wrong,
Okay,
yeah.
good. By the way, you can buy that shirt on Amazon. That
Link down below in the description.
Link in the descript, baby. You can buy them on Amazon, bro. He helped me set up the link. You can buy shirts. You can buy phone cases, dude. You can buy, I think, a tote bag. There's a bunch of shit you can buy at PDX Vision. Nobody's bought anything, but you can. If you want some PDX Vision merch. We should figure out a way to get some Go Deeper merch.
I'm down. It's easy. I can add it. No problem.
Seriously?
My wife has all the files, dude. Seriously.
Your wife made this file.
Yeah, I can just do it. It's not hard. Not like I could get that up and running.
Done that a long time ago.
I could do that. Like you got to remind me.
Of course. I will. I'll be like, Zach,
I'll be home.
Remember when you told me that
I'll be home all day tomorrow. Like just ping me.
like soon.
Yeah, seriously.
Coming soon to an eBay and Amazon
Probably,
near you.
Hey, It's gonna be in the link of this video.
Oh, let's go. Check the link of the description below. There's going to be Go Deeper merch that you can get online, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks to Zach and his wife, dude, because that's fucking insane. That's crazy, dude. You just put me up I was already pumped because you're here, you know what I mean? But now I'm just I'm on level 9, bro. It's fucking cool. Dude,
You gotta remind me though. Seriously, I'll forget.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I'll fucking forget too. Profiles, you have to remind me, okay? What's going on? Oh, timers. Oh, you got it?
He's on top of it.
I'm over here
We
telling
already
him-
talked about it.
I'm over here
He's
telling him
good.
profiles if he don't know. Bro, we got to get profiles on the episode here coming up soon.
I like that idea. It's a good idea.
We could do it
Yeah.
soon and very soon.
Yes.
Dude,
Yes.
I'm gonna talk about the chariot.
yes. Yes, we have to. It's nice, bro.
I
Nice.
got a new truck.
Did you see it parked out
Did
front
you
by the
watch?
mailbox?
That was it.
That's
Yeah.
him. Yeah, bro.
Is it 2021 Tacoma TRD off-road? So it's got the off-road settings. She's just a dial on the dash.
It's got the package, man.
It's got a 3-inch lift. It's like a spacer lift, so it just looks sick. It's not actually fancy suspension and shit, but it just looks really nice, and it's got bigger tires. So I basically I took a mile per gallon hit, and the ride is a little rougher, but I look badass.
But it looks dope. And
it
then,
looks so badass.
And then you look at it and you're just like,
we could put a picture. I'll put a picture right there. Boom. I got a picture I'll send you with it hauling my kayak.
shut
The
up.
full package.
Dude.
It's legit. I
Dude.
think it looks badass.
I can confirm that.
Yeah.
I can confirm. It does look very badass. I can't wait to hop in and maybe you give me a ride somewhere. I don't
Dude,
know.
I want to. So my friends, I came from a CRV, so I had no off road, and I've been telling people I'm just going on logging roads or whatever. So I'm telling my friends oh dude, it's chewing these logging roads up like crazy. And they're like, oh, you'll have to take us up sometime. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, fuck yeah, I'll take you up. I'll take you up the logging
Dude,
roads.
let's go, bro. Let's
Like-
go. Fuck this count. Look, we're going to right now. We're going to logging road.
Legit, I'm afraid to go truly off road, but the logging road. I
It's
mean,
'cause it's still new. It's still new because you were talking about
Yeah.
that the day 2 where that dude
Yeah.
pulled up with his old ass fucking Forerunner. You can clear that, and you're like,
I'm a little bit scared. I don't know. I need to Google watch a YouTube video basics of off roading. That would be smart. But.
before I bought because people who don't know, I have a Colorado, and it's not the off-road package, but it is 4x4. But before I bought it, I was watching, the Colorado versus the Tacoma versus the what's the Ford midsize
Ranger?
the Ford Ranger doing off-road mini courses how each truck compares to the other one, and every off-road challenge, bro, the Tacoma was like, look at these peasant ass trucks around here, and I was like, okay, but. Those are expensive though. I'm gonna go with the fucking Colorado.
Buy once, cry once. And they hold their value
They
like
hold their
crazy. I
value
gotta
so
tell
much.
myself that every time.
It's
Hold their
'cause
value.
you were looking for an older model that wasn't costing so much, but even the 2013s were $30K, bro. So it's
insane. A 2013, 2014 that's good. And even if they have a lot of miles, because Toyotas run forever,
they do.
they just truly don't lose their value.
Mhm.
30 grand for a 10-year-old truck. It's insane.
But cars suck. The cars suck for Fords. Oh, my bad.
Profiles, you got a mic, man. You got a mic,
Get
man.
with the program. No, I think all trucks right now, even the lower trim trucks,
Yeah.
they're just everyone wants a freaking truck, dude. The price doesn't go down. It's insane.
It's crazy. People were telling me that because I think I bought my truck in December of 2020. I think I bought my truck right before the prices of trucks spiked really high.
Oh, you mean the price of fucking everything?
Oh yeah, the price of fucking milk and
literally everything.
milk and eggs.
Yeah.
It's insane, bro.
Yeah.
Somebody was telling me the other day that the inflation rate has gone down 3% in the past few months. But even that, if that's true, if you look at the prices from today to the prices from 2019, we're still
3% is nothing.
yeah,
It's you have to always remember stock market or whatever. If a stock loses 90% of its value, it needs to gain 1,000% to get back to where it was.
Seriously, I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
It's
I'm also a
insane.
dumbass when it comes to stocks.
Don't quote
in
me
the
on
market.
that. I'm pretty. So I know the ratio exists, but don't quote me on the exact numbers. But I'm fairly certain that's accurate.
I vouch for him. I believe. I believe it's true. I believe it's true. Because when it comes to stocks and like, when you were telling me earlier about how that one company that one guy works for split their stock value to get back to where they were, and I was just like, I mean, it makes sense what you're telling me, but like, if I was an owner and we could do this to get back, I would have been like, I have no idea how that shit works.
Yeah.
Man.
It's a whole nother world.
I just go and I clock in and I fucking go.
Yeah.
home.
I have like a 401k, and that's like, I have a 401k and I watch a couple stocks, and that's about it.
Are you invested in any?
In the 401k, yeah, but
Wait, 401k is a stock? I thought it was a retirement plan. See,
Yeah,
what I'm talking about? I'm a fucking.
we're about to get into it.
Let's do it, dude. Let's do
No,
it,
so
please, because
401k.
educate me, please.
So, okay. Long time ago, back when there were companies who cared about their workers, right? There was pensions. Like public company or government still have pensions. So pensions used to be the retirement plan. Like, hey, you work for this company, the company's going to put money into this fund, and then when you retire, they can take money out of this fund for you, and then you get that pension money and you can retire, and the company that has invested in it will pay for your retirement. So capitalism, not to be like real broad here, but capitalism decided, hey, we don't want the company money to go into these pension plans. So what we're going to do is we're going to offer a 401k.
Which is like where you match it, right? Like,
So that's part of it. So 401k is basically, it opens up a trading account. So 401k allows you to invest into the stock market. And oftentimes with companies, the 401k will have a set or a recommendation, or sometimes it even is limited to certain stocks or index funds, where stocks are individual companies, index funds are groups of stocks.
fuck.
So like an index, there's a lot of index funds, and those are probably some of the safer funds because it's like a large number of companies, and so if one company has a problem, it's not going to tank your whole index fund. You have a lot of other companies, like it's basically diversifying.
Okay.
So you basically say, hey, I want to put in 6% of my income into my 401k, and a lot of companies will have a company match where they say, okay, you're going to put 6% in, we're going to match that up to that 6%, or if you put 10%, they might say we're going to match up to 6%, and everything else is not matched. So that is the company like
Part.
contribution.
Yeah.
The problem is that retirement vehicle is tied directly to the stock market. And
That shit can crash at
the
any
stock
fucking
market,
moment.
it's not like a pension. It's not a dedicated fund that says, hey,
It's
we
not
have
a savings account.
Yeah, exactly. Like the company's not saying we have this dedicated fund to all of the people who work for us for X years, and we're going to pay out this annuity or whatever, this amount per month for the people who retire. It's literally like, hey, you have this fund, and if the stock market tanks, your 401k tanks.
Right.
You're not guaranteed like a set pension amount, which when you look back and you draw the trend out, like basically with the entire history of the stock market, you can assume that you're going to make about 7% every year. Like when you blend out all the ups and downs, generally speaking, year over year, you make about 7%, which is great. Like that's awesome. But right now, in the last couple decades, it's been more volatile than it has recently.
Ever.
And if you are not careful and you're not doing like the right investments and you don't invest in the right index funds or the right stocks, I mean, if you have a lot of investment in one stock and that stock tanks, then you're going to take a bigger hit. So the other problem is that this is all still kind of experimental. Like 401ks are so new that no one's actually, like our generation, like this millennials essentially are the first generation that's actually going to be like using their 401k to retire. Like generations, like maybe a couple of the younger boomers or the younger generations for like
The
Generation
ones
X or
older than
whatever
us.
might be starting to like actually like, hey, I'm retirement age, I'm going to start using this 401k that's like a new plan. It's still new.
Right. Okay. So no one's retired as of today on a 401k.
I mean, there are.
essentially.
But it's new. It's
Essentially,
really
like-
new. Like pensions are super old. Pensions have been around for
Yeah.
a century or whatever. Like companies and worker protections, and the idea of the company taking care of the employee pre like Reagan, Nixon, and workers' rights was a big deal. Like that was like, so right after World War II, right? World War II, you go back, and the post World War II time in America is very, very like across the board is very commonly referred to as like the greatest boom. Like it's why the boomers are called boomers. Is that time period was the greatest economic boom of our history.
Mm-hmm.
And during that time, workers had a lot of really strong protections. There was a lot of high tax rates. So like the effective tax rate during that time was like 90%. So like corporations making over a certain amount, like the highest earners in the country, were getting taxed at 90+%, which is crazy. But that was when we all, like the vast majority of people, will consider the most prosperous time in our country's history. So what happened? Capitalism came along and was like, hey, profits are important. We now have board members we need to appease. We need to have stocks that are the number needs to go up. So we need to figure out how to cut costs. So capitalism came along, basically said, hey, all these pension programs are costing us a lot of money. We're going to not do this, but we're going to replace it with 401k, which, again, experimental. We're going to get rid of unions because unions cost money. They make us do regulations. They make us do they make us do whatever, worker protections that we have to pay more to make sure they're safe. We have to pay more to make sure they're paid fairly, yada, yada, yada. So unions are bad in general from the perspective of like a company, a capitalist company or whatever.
From a CEO,
yeah.
I don't like unions.
And so and obviously taxes right around Reagan and Nixon, like taxes for the, it's called Reaganomics. Like Reaganomics basically like, hey, we're going to lower taxes, trickle down economics. We're going to lower taxes on the highest earners. They're going to generate jobs. And that money that they're saving by not paying taxes is going to trickle down to the lower level people and everyone prospers, which unfortunately now we have a lot of evidence that suggests that is not accurate. So, yay.
Thanks, Reagan.
That was not, there's a lot of stuff around that time period that kind of started the domino. But yeah, now we're at this position where wealth inequality is the greatest it's ever been. Like the top 1% has like more wealth than literally like the bottom 90% or something crazy like that. And it's just, where we're at now. And that's not like to say, like, full disclaimer, like, I am a very evidence-based person, and I look at the numbers and I look at this economic data and I draw conclusions based on what that is. I'm not trying to say like capitalism's bad, socialism's good. Like, in a perfect world, like the reality of it is that we are in a mix of socialism and capitalism.
Yeah.
Like, without socialism, capitalism is literally like pure capitalism is like the children go to the mines and work. There's no protections. We don't have an infrastructure. We don't have anything to help society like continue that is not provided by this corporation and the capitalist idea. And the other side of the coin, it's like pure socialism. Yeah, pure socialism is communism. Obviously, that's not worked before either. So the mix is great. We like a mix. We want a mix. We want the checks and balances. Blah blah blah. So.
And then the socialists are like the capitalism, and then the capitalists are like the socialists.
Honestly, the bottom line is that it's not a us versus them. It's not a red versus blue. It is a wealthy class versus the everyone else. And the more that people watch media and the more that people think that it is a red versus blue,
the more divides,
man. Yeah, the worse everything is. In reality, it is truly wealthy versus not wealthy. And when we learn that,
and it's so funny, and they know that too. They know that. That's why they push the game.
Yeah, exactly.
They push the red and blue game against us.
Yeah, the people who are in control of the media want us to fight with each other. Like, they don't want us to be like, hey, our enemy is actually those guys because we outnumber them like 1,000,000,000 to 1. You know?
Yeah, honestly. And then they're just like, let's just keep feeding them this red and blue, and then it's been working for the past 20, 30, 40 years, and it's like, until the more people realize, it's like, well, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Maybe
it's a class issue. It's not a culture issue.
The red and the blues both have a common interest of what's good for us, right? So it's like maybe fucking taking a fucking jab at the wealthy would be
eat the rich.
Yeah. Robin Hood this bitch.
Yeah, right. I see the mic in your hand. What do you got to say?
I was looking at profiles for his 2 cents.
You want me to say something?
I don't know. I thought you had some input. This is the open discussion here.
Yeah, nah, it's all.
Fuck them. I just play you guys. Dude, these beers are actually pretty good.
They're good.
These beers are called Camp Vibes. I don't know if you guys can see this shit right here. Funnily enough, oddly enough, I guess that's more correct lead to say, I speak English sometimes. These camp vibes, I saw them at the store, and I picked them up because I knew Zach was coming. Last time I went camping was with Zach. We went to somewhere on the John Day. I forget where specifically, but it was such a fucking blast, dude. I had such a fucking good time. I saw these with camp vibes. I picked them up. I met Zach here. He brought a couple beers. Same exact beer. Same exact fucking beer.
Hell yeah.
Profiles, I wish you drank. I wish you fucking drank
Don't
because
say that.
these.
Asked me 10 years ago, and I
Don't say
would
that.
have.
Be proud of him.
No. I'm just playing. For the people that don't know, Profiles is actually 10 years sober. And not like it's easy to say no one, like not just anyone can do that, but actually 10
Yeah, no,
years.
it's serious. Like,
You
it's
know,
crazy.
you applaud people at 6 months. You applaud people for 1 year of sobriety, and that's I'm not trying to take that away from them either. You know, I'm proud of you and for your success. But 10 years, bro. You guys can't say I'm gonna fucking fist bump my dog right now, bro. Just telling you, that's like a self-discipline, like level 10, dude. It's like I don't know, but this beer tastes really good, Profiles.
It's super drinkable. Like this, I totally would be like, yeah, sitting around a campfire, like I'll just knock back a ton of these. It's super easy to drink.
Man, the next time we go camping, if we don't have these beers with us, we failed as fucking campers.
I agree. Is these like seasonal?
I hope not. They are barrel 10 though.
10 barrel. They rotate a bunch of stuff.
They do. Polar with the ER. Polar. See that?
Right? Oh, polar. Yeah. Oh, polar release. Yeah, maybe it is limited time. We gotta stock up.
Stock up. Stock up and save up. By the way, if you guys are watching this, we changed the lightings a little bit. Let me know. Yes, no. Hopefully not no, because I kind of got rid of those other lights. Troy, they're coming your way. Thank you for letting me borrow them for like 2 years.
If you get lucky, you'll see a rave tonight.
Oh yeah, this light has been fucking every once in a while it turns into a fucking That's So Raven. We should become a band. That was actually pretty cool. Dude, I have to talk to you. Zach, you've been on the show before, but since the last time you've come on, dude, you've been participating in these kayak tournaments. Not just kayak tournaments. You did one with your brother-in-law, too, didn't
Yep.
you? You fucking placed pretty
Oh,
good in
yeah.
that one. He has been fucking taking W's left and right. Whenever there's a tournament and Zach is participating, you better think twice before you wake up that morning, bro. Because, dude, you don't need... Profiles doesn't know.
What?
You know they do fishing tournaments around here, right?
Yes.
Dude, every time this guy participates, fucking taking people's money, bro.
Really?
Like,
Maybe not every time, but more than normal.
it's...
I've been this
You
this
got any
season,
YouTube videos?
that's
I
another
have
fucking...
one.
That's another thing we have
Yes.
to talk about.
Hey, you gotta talk about it, man.
So I do 2 circuits. So I do a boat circuit, which is like the standard 2-person team. You're on a boat. You weigh in the fish. I do that with my brother-in-law, Cameron Black with Addicted Fishing.
you ain't gonna fucking believe this shit, bro. Cameron Black with the division. Get your ass up in here.
I doubt that. He's in freaking Florida.
Oh, never mind. It was a different Cameron Black. Never mind, bro. Never mind.
So we do. He bought a. So we actually started that. So we fish in TBF, the Bass Federation. It's a circuit around here. They do boat bass tournaments. They have a coastal circuit and a river circuit. We fished a little bit of both, and there's another couple circuits that we fished like just onesie twosies in. But we fished TBF, the river circuit. We started last year. We made it all the way to the regionals last year, and then didn't do that good. I got like big bass last year.
I remember you were telling me about last year how it was a struggle, but you kind of figured something
we were
out towards the end.
close. So the way they do is they have like 3 or 4 or 4 or 5. I think it's 4 tournaments. I think it's 2 weekends of 2 tournaments, and they, based on where you place, they have points that you assign. So the people who have like the top, this depends on how many people enter that season.
Right,
so if
right,
there's
right.
like a lot of people enter, it'd be like the top 15. If there's not so many people, it'd be the top 10.
Yeah.
So last year we were like on the cutoff. I think we were like 1 or 2 above the cutoff. We
On the
made it to
cuff.
regionals.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and so when you get to regionals, and we can start actually, yeah. Oh, I'll do the summary first. So it's really interesting how the tournaments work. But yeah, we get to regionals, and they split you up so you're no longer with your team. It's the boater and a co-angler that are different teams. So all the boaters are like the drivers. are they're competing against the boaters, and all the co-anglers are competing against the co-anglers.
Mm-hmm.
But we got there. I was on a boat who didn't really find the fish. We didn't do that good, so I didn't really do that good the first day. And the second day, I was on a boat whose lower unit exploded.
What?
And I didn't even get a fish. Like literally, so the lower, it didn't explode, but the lower unit like broke. We were going like 70 miles over the water, and all of a sudden just ping, and like the whole boat just lunges to a stop, and we take the.
That's
like,
dangerous in the middle of a river, bro.
with like 30 other boats like around us. Yeah,
Flying
it was
by.
crazy. Yeah. And so we bring the engine up, and like you see this dent, just something inside just shot out and like caused this dent like this big. Like totally shot. Boat was totally shot. We had to like trolling motor to the nearest boat ramp, and I had to drive his truck. Like we got a shuttle drive his truck back
To that
to
ramp.
pick up his boat because it was just
Right.
done. So we did. That was last year.
Uh-huh.
We did okay. We made it to regionals, which a lot, Cameron's fished with people who have like fished in this circuit for 5-7 years and
Yeah.
never made it to regionals, and we made it there in the first year.
That's
Like
and that's,
Cameron-
that's saying how many boaters were there? Do you remember?
There was like 36 or 40,
Wow.
something like that at regionals.
Wow.
So the regionals will actually take boats from different circuits too, so
Wait,
they all come together. In
There
one
was
big
36
tournament.
boats in the regionals bracket.
Yeah.
How many was there before that? Before like who?
So because there's like a bunch of different circuits, all those different circuits meet up in regionals. But our circuit, TBF normally they have like 15 to 20 boats per tournament, and so they had in that circuit I think there was like 11 boats that moved to regionals. So we were like 10 or 11
Oh shit! Okay.
to get to
okay,
regionals,
Gotcha,
and then a
gotcha.
bunch of other circuits. They're top
Okay, I'm
people
following
came
you
in,
now.
yeah.
I'm following you.
But like.
Talking to the ghost.
I told you.
Who is it? Pork chops?
No,
Oh.
it was just colder.
Oh.
But yeah, so like they're
Leave it open. Leave it open.
before last year, Cameron was fishing as a co-angler with other people. Like he would be on their boat and as a team, and he would fish in there. He was fishing with people who like they had been fishing in the circuits for like 5 or 7 years and never made it to regionals. And the fact that we made it on the first year as a team was like, okay, we're doing pretty good.
Yeah. We should team up more often.
Yeah, and like if you know Cameron, like anyone in the Northwest is gonna know Cameron. He's a super fishy guy, so it's not like a super big surprise that
Yeah.
he was able to get on the bass trail or whatever.
And then you, I mean, you're a fisherman of all sorts. You're an all species
Yeah.
fisherman. But if you were to place your pointing finger on one,
Trout. Before this, now
on
it's
your
bass.
second bet,
Bass. So, dude, like no joke. I'll be completely honest with you. I went into last year's circuit not knowing how to jig. Like my jigging, I think I caught like 2 fish with a jig before tournament fishing.
Oh wow.
Straight up, I would be like, I love spinnerbaits, dude.
Yeah,
And
you do love
spinnerbaits are kind of like.
yeah. Spinnerbaits is your confidence bait.
Speaking of, I got more to talk about that. But so that's what I went into it with. But after fishing for that whole season, I learned how to jig. I learned like how to fish in a tournament. We learned how to fishing in a tournament is so crazy compared to like fishing just for fun. There's so many like different. It's like so many layers of decisions and
Yes. Your
changes.
decision,
Like
the way you fish a tournament is way different
Yeah.
than the way you just go fishing out with a buddy on a Sunday.
yeah, you go out on the Columbia and like anyone can catch 50 or 80 bass in an afternoon on a good day in the Columbia. But like to catch the 5 fish that are going to win the tournament,
Yeah.
it's just like 100%.
And it's crazy because I've co-angled a couple times. Obviously, because I don't have a bass boat, so I'm the co-angler.
Yeah.
And then
Hey, same here.
right, you know what I'm saying? So it's like every time somebody hooks up, like if you're fishing and your co-angler hooks up, you're the net guy
Yeah.
by default.
Oh, yeah.
Like it doesn't matter what fish it is.
Either or, like
Either or.
whoever
And
hooks
if you hook
fish,
up
like,
fish, they're
big
your
fish, you
they're your
drop
baiter.
everything. You fucking
Because
run.
in the tournament, every fish counts, dude. It's like
You gotta fish clean.
It could be a dink, or it could be the one that wins the big bass. You
Yep.
don't know, so I'm here with the net
Yep.
for whatever.
Fishing
it's just-
clean is crazy.
Yes. I just wanted to throw that in there because,
Yeah.
like, boom, I know a little bit about tournaments.
Yeah, no, it's legit. It's crazy. Like it is a team effort, 100%. And
It's really cool. I love doing it.
yeah.
I've only done it with Matt though.
it's fun. You should get him to do it more. 'Cause
I want to do it.
before I was in tournaments, like fishing for fun, I'd be like, oh, I caught like a 3-pound bass. This is crazy. And now it's like, yeah, I catch 3-pound bass. Like, all right, throw it in. Hopefully we can kill it later.
We're gonna call that bitch out in a couple hours. Hopefully they don't die.
Yeah. But so that was the first season. And the second season this year, so focusing on the boat tournaments, like he bought a nice boat. Like he had a 90, or maybe it was like a 2002 Ranger.
Rangers are good.
They're pretty good. But it was definitely like we had to work on it. We had to do a bunch of work. Like it broke a couple times. We were like limping it along. Like, okay, yeah, it's a 92 or a 2002 or whatever. So this year he kind of went a little crazy and bought like a brand new Camus, like a 2023.
Fuck around.
80,000 like Milliken fishing boat.
Oh my
like
God.
It's an $80,000 boat. Just like literally. He could take that boat to nationals and it would be on par with everyone else.
No way.
Crazy boat. And so like that was awesome for one. And for two, it's like he's serious about it.
Yeah.
So I learned all that from last season. Obviously he's learning too. So we come into this season and there's again those 4 tournaments. So the first weekend we bombed one turn. Bombed the Saturday tournament. Terrible. Like we got like second to last or something. Came back the next day, like Saturday, and then Saturday we bombed it. Sunday we came back, literally won the next day, first place, took a bunch of money. I'll tell you more about it. We can go into it because it was a pretty cool day. Won that tournament, and it was just like puke and rally. Totally.
Was it a okay? At the end of day 2, was the winning numbers from both days?
So it's 2 separate tournaments.
Okay.
But
That was my question.
our weight was the highest weight on day 2.
Of
Was the
both
highest
days?
weight of both days, which is not normal. So normally day 1, everyone goes to the good spots, everyone catches the good fish, and they're sword mouth
And
the
that
next
hurts
day. Yeah.
day 2.
So almost
That hurts day
every
2.
single consistently the weights on day 2 are less than day 1, just
because-
across the board because they sword mouth all the fish.
They got fished hard
Yep.
yesterday.
So our bag and our big fish won. So we won first place and big fish. I got a certified 6.02 pound smallmouth on a certified scale that day. Like
I'll give you another one of these for
I
that.
had-
Holy shit!
I had people who
Holy shit!
like in that circuit. I had people coming up to me like during the weigh-in and during the announcements and whatnot, being like, "I fished this river for 30 years and I have never caught a 6-pound bass." Like.
Dude,
Old people, like people have been doing that for
I haven't
years and
caught a
years.
6-pound largie. You got a 6-pound small.
Yeah, it was nuts. So we can go into that more because that day was really fun.
I
to
remember
talk
when you
about.
sent me that picture. You're just like, and I was like, nah, you're fucking with me.
No,
right
it was
now.
on a they have they give you a little paper sheet
Like a
that says
certified.
here's my weight and here's the big fish. I have that from a certified scale.
Dude.
You don't keep the fish.
No?
No, you release them.
No. Their tournaments they're released
Yeah.
afterwards. So that
Which
fish
is
is still
funny.
out there, unless it's
Mortality rates on bass
Not. I
tournaments are
know it's still out there. Let me believe it's still out there.
So we won that one. So we had Puke Rally, and then we did another tournament, like a one-off tournament. It was for ABA, American Bass Association, just a different circuit. We just
Yeah.
wanted. We're like, hey, we have a free weekend. I was open, so he invited me. He's like, yeah, let's do it. One single tournament, won that one too. Just boom, just completely out of nowhere. So like now this team. So Cameron Black, if you don't know him, he's a big salmon guide here, and there's a kind of a
Addicted
rivalry.
fishing, if you guys
Yeah,
don't-
addicted fishing. But there's a rivalry in the Northwest to be like salmon guys don't take bass guys seriously, vice versa. People are like salmon guy can't catch bass, and yeah. So it's honestly kind of friendly for the most part, but it's still there. Like there's an undertone where like, oh yes, Cameron Black, a salmon guy is gonna come and try to be a big tough bass fisherman, blah 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 blah. And now we come in rolling in the second season that he has a boat, win 2 tournaments, which they're kind of going back to that last point. There are people who fish these circuits for years and years and years and years and years and never win a single one at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's people who win occasionally. Like there's the names that you see recurring, but there's very few people who win like first place consistently. So it was kind of like, oh shit, that team won twice in one season. That was kind of
You're like Zach and Cameron. Dude,
And then so the last tournament we did like okay, and then we actually had to cancel. There was a canceled tournament because the wind was so bad, which we actually have the makeup day on Sunday this weekend. So I'm going out again on Sunday, assuming it doesn't get canceled, but for the makeup day.
On the Big River?
Yeah, on the Columbia, like Celilo, big. If it's windy,
And that's the thing. If it gets windy,
it gets nasty.
It's bad.
I've been like that.
You know who Craig Robin is? I think that's his name.
Craig Roberts.
Robin. He used to be one of the higher ups on 503 Bashes when it was around.
Maybe I know a Craig.
Craig, I think it's Craig. I could be wrong. I think his name was Craig Robin. He GoPro sometimes. He doesn't have a YouTube channel or anything like that, but he'll GoPro his trips. He originally went out to the Columbia, and dude, it was gnarly. He took a fucking roller over and he's got I think a 19 or 20 foot bass boat.
Dude, the Columbia does not fuck around especially in the gorge where all the river circuit is.
Yes,
it does
dude.
not fuck around.
And it's so crazy because fucking FBJ RJ the other day, he's like, I went out there and it was fucking glass on my kayak. I'm like, you
get lucky. You get really lucky some days, and I've been out on it too, like glass on the kayak. It's like you just gotta watch the weather, gotta be careful. But and then
good luck for this Sunday. Sorry.
Yeah.
Doesn't that make update?
If it doesn't get canceled, the wind's nasty already, but we'll see.
It's starting to swirl up. I've seen it too.
But so right now, because we lost one, not lost one, we were really bad one, really good one, and mediocre on the third one.
Mm-hmm.
We're kind of on that edge again, where it's like, hey, if we do bad, we're probably not going to qualify. If we do good, we are going to qualify, which is where we were last year. The same exact situation that we did good. I think we got like a fourth or sixth or something last year, and then qualified. So that's interesting. But yeah, so it's really interesting, like just tournament fishing in general, and like learning how to bass fish from a different perspective than just like I want to go out and catch a bunch of fish, because like again, I can go out and catch 100 bass if I want to, no problem, but they're all like dinks or whatever. Yeah. It's just a completely different game when
it's a different mindset. It's a fucking different mentality. It's a different approach. You're rigging up your rods the night before differently.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean?
100%. Like it's just a completely different game. So I want to talk about the first time that we won one. So it was early season. It was like March or April or something. Pre spawn. So the first day we go out, we're like, because we fished last year, we're like, okay, we know where some of the fish are. We're going to go to those places. We kind of have an idea of where they're going to sit, and we're going to pick those places apart. Don't catch anything. Like we did really bad. I think we got like 14 or 13 pounds or something like that, which on the Columbia, like 18, 19 minimum is going to be like top 5.
Yeah.
I think actually 19 that day was the winner. 19 point something was the winner. So we were like, we get out on day one. We're like, fuck, we did terrible. We got like,
well, it's not terrible. It's just
like
not
13 pounds for 5 fish. It was not. We were literally at the back of the
back end of it.
Yeah, lower end of the.
You're on the lower unit.
Yes. So we go out this next day, and it was like all of the tournaments this year have been like nasty weather too. So we go out next day. We launch out of Hood River, right, and we go south, and like we're bombing south, and it's like sleet. It's still early, so there's like sleet and fog.
Yeah.
Literally, like
that's dangerous.
The
on
water,
the Columbia, dude.
The water wasn't bad, but like we're going so fast, and there was like clouds that we couldn't see. It was crazy. So we're like bombing like 60, 70 miles down the water. We can't see further than like 100 feet, and we're like, we gotta slow down. This is crazy or whatever. So we slow down. We finally get to the spot we're at. We're like, okay, we gotta fish here. We fish at the first spot for like an hour and a half and just aren't catching anything. And by that time, like the wind had come up, the fog had been blown away. We're like literally like on the front of the boat. The boat's getting jerked so far that the motor's coming out of the water. Like like, oh gee, we can't fish here anymore. Like, well, we need to go someplace else. And so some
secluded fucking island or something.
And that was like our like, you know, the first place you go in a tournament, like you're kind of banking on at least either finding a big or a couple big fish or getting your 5 fish, getting that first 5 fish
and like, cull them out.
Yep, now I have the 5 fish, I can start culling them. Didn't do either.
Fuck.
So we're sitting there, our boat's like
empty,
like we need to make a
empty
run.
live tank, like
live,
what do they call it?
Live well.
Fucking A. You think I would know that name?
So we're sitting there like, we need to make a move. What are we gonna do? And like we had run down in part of the tournaments, like you have to, when you launch, you're launching in like a number order. They don't do shotgun launches anymore because too many people got hurt.
It's dangerous.
Yeah. So we're doing like numbered order. So at the launch, we're watching. Oh, these people went upriver. These people went downriver. These people went downriver. These people went upriver. And
That's one advantage to like not blasting off first.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, he went that way. Maybe we should, you know.
But we counted like 4 or 5 boats that went with us, and we outran like 3 of them. So we knew there was like only 1 or 2 people down there because the weather forecast was atrocious, like bad, like sad.
Fuck.
Like smaller boats would not be able to go there bad. And so we were sitting there, not at that part where the weather forecast was that bad, but on the edge of it.
Right.
And we're like, we only saw 2 boats go down there, and we know that there's fish down there because no one caught them the day before. Like when you're working with like the same area year over year, like like there's this quality of fish in this stretch of river because they have been there before. That's like, we know where they're gonna spawn. We know that they're in that area. They don't go like miles and miles away.
Right.
And so no one caught them the day before. Like no one brought in that bag the day before
from there.
Yeah. So we're like, you know what? We did shitty. We have to do good, or else we're gonna get bumped out. Like we can't have 2 bad days in a row because we can only drop 1 tournament that affects our score.
Right.
And so we're like, we have to drop this one, so we have to do good today. So we're sitting there like, you know, we got to make the run. We got to make the run, even though we know it's going to be shitty coming back. We know it's going to be shitty going down. We have to do it because if we don't, then we're going to be out of the whole circuit. Like the whole year's circuit, we're going to be out.
The bottom line, if we stay here, we lose.
Yeah. And so we decided we're going to bomb down. So we bomb down even further down the pool and get to where the area. So we know that they were not spawning where people thought they were. Like they weren't spawning yet. Mm-hmm. So we knew like, hey, they're in this area somewhere. We have to find them because no one caught them yesterday. No one brought in a bag that had that quality of fish in it. So we have to find them. So we go way down, and we see the 2 boats that we passed, or that passed us. One of them is a guy we know. Yeah, you can grab me another one too, please. So we saw the 2 boats. We got down there. One of the boats immediately runs back up. Like he knew that the weather was going to be bad. We ran through really bad weather too. And so we start fishing down there, and at this point it was probably like noon, maybe, and the tournament goes to like 2 or so, or 2:30, and we had like 12 pounds. We're like, fuck, we're fucked. And so we're fishing around there, trying to like we know where a bunch of fish like kind of stage or are sometimes, and so we're fishing around there trying to find them. And
like, mind you, this is still early season, so it's not like we know where they are for sure.
Yeah,
like,
when these smallmouth spawn, it's like they're only going to certain places.
Yeah,
everyone knows where those places are.
So before that happens, it's still kind of like, fuck, where are these fish?
They're somewhere nearby.
Yeah,
they're somewhere nearby because they know the temperature, they know the river conditions. They're waiting for that temperature, and I guess full moon and shit, like the moon cycle like triggers them too. They're waiting for their like primo time, so we knew that they were in a big area.
Start fucking.
And so we're like, okay, let's fish here. So we're putting around. We know like a bunch of rocks where they kind of sit normally, and we can't catch them. We're catching like little dinks, little nothings, no coals. And finally, we're like, well, the weather's getting too bad. We have to go back up either because it's going to take us like an hour plus to actually just get through this terrible water because the wind is so bad, and B, the wind is so bad that we don't want to die. It's going to get worse. Yeah. And so we're literally like pulling out of the area that we're in, and he has a 360, a Mega 360, which is basically like if you see a sonar. It's like that. It just is like a big circle. Like it literally has two posts. Like they go out like this, and it spins. And as it spins, it updates like the bottom. So you see the bottom in a 360-degree pattern, and so you see like the rocks, you see the stumps, you see everything, and you can see fish. If there's fish, you can see like a bright spot and a shadow behind them because that's what like it pings the fish, and so you see this bright spot with a fish and the shadow behind them.
The fish casts.
Yep. So we're literally like about to roll out, like we're trolling out to where we can put our motor down and leave, and we see these shadows, like the perfect fish shadows on that 360, like 100% no joke. We're literally leaving, and we're like, oh, that looks like a fucking fish. That looks like a school of fish. And so we throw on a jerkbait. We have jerkbait. We're throw a jerkbait, just bomb it out there. Boom. Reel in. First cast. Boom. Fish on. We cold. It was like a 3.5 pounder. Like, oh. And there's 5 or 6 of them down there. We're like, oh shit, this is it. Cast it out there again. Boom. Another like 3 or 4 pounder. And we're like culling 2 pounders.
Culling 2 pounders.
Yeah.
So you're gaining a pound each fish.
Yeah. And we're like, oh shit, like this is it. So we catch like one more. I think it was like another 3 pounder. And we're like, okay.
Yeah, but you called out another 2
Yeah.
pounder.
And we saw like 5 or 6 of them. So we're like, we caught 2 or 3. We know that there's like at least 5 or 6. So we need to find them. So there's like a big rock pile, and we're like going around with the 360. We actually go downriver and like come back up the other side of it. And all of a sudden, boom, we see them on the 360 again, like clear as day. And so I'm sitting there, and the way it is, like we said earlier, like the person who doesn't hook the fish is the net guy. And so it just so happened that we pull up, see those fish. I was the first person to cast, hook, fish on. Cameron runs up with the net, and usually like what you do is like whoever's catching fish, like they'll continue fishing, and whoever's netting will weigh it and measure it and cull.
Yeah.
And so he's like, I got this fish. It was another. I think that was like a 4 pounder, 4.5 pounder. We're like, oh, we are in it. This is actually happening. I think we were at. He has one of those scales that has like the 5 weights.
The 5 weights and the total.
And so like we just culled like 3 fish, and we're like 17 pounds, and 19 pounds won the day before, and like it went 19, 18, 18, 18, like 17. So we're like,
we're in it.
We're in like the top 5 according to yesterday, and we knew that like the second day usually has smaller weights, so we're pretty confident. So we're like, oh shit, this is happening. I can't believe this is happening, but we're in the top 5. And so like I cast out again, and literally like we caught like a 4.5 pounder. I cast out again, reeling. Like I get a bite, I set the hook, and it feels like I hooked a rock.
Like,
like
I just snagged up. And
all of a sudden I'm like, oh, and then it just starts going, like just running. I was like, oh my God, that's a fish. And I'm like, Cameron, this is a huge one. I can't believe this is a massive fish. And so I'm reeling this fish in, and he nets it, and we weigh it at like 5.6 or something like that. Like our scale says 5.6, and we're like, oh, we're both like losing our shit. Like literally like, oh my God, what's happening? This is nuts. And so we think we have like 5.6 pounder. And I think our total, I think that might've been the last one that we culled, but that put us at like 19 or 19 or 20 on our scale. I think it was like 20.5 or something like that, 20.05. And so we're like, we're in like contention. We're potentially winning this now. I think I texted my wife, and I was like, because I was texting her the whole day. I was like, fuck, we're doing shitty. Oh, we're not doing good. We did bad yesterday.
Fucking Cameron.
Yeah. So we're at like 20. I texted her. I was like, I think we might have won this thing. And she's like, don't say that. Why did you say that?
That's some knock on wood shit. Dude, you fucking thought you guys nagged it.
Yeah. So we got, like, we thought we were like 20.7 or not 20%.
After you landed that, what you guys thought 5 point whatever pounded, you guys obviously kept trying to catch other ones.
We did. We stayed there for a little bit longer, but at that point it was getting kind of late, and we're like,
and the weather and the run.
At least an hour and a half run to get back to the launch in this weather.
Right.
And we actually knew one of the other boats, like close friends with one of the other boats, the only other boat that was down there. They left, so we were putting around downstream of them, and they left about 20 minutes before we started culling, like hooking these fish. So they didn't see us catch anything. We pulled up and talked to them. We're like, dude, we're like 13 pounds. We're fucked right now. So they left. We caught like 10 more pounds worth of fish. Well, not 10, like 7 more pounds worth of fish. So we were kind of keeping it on the DL. So we catch up to them. They actually called us. They're like, hey, dude, we're up here. It's really bad. We're going to wait for you to make sure that you can make it all right, because we don't want to leave you down there and get screwed.
That's actually cool.
Yeah, super cool.
That's cool, because in tournament time, some people are like, I'll see how they do. But
it's all, I mean, safety is kind of important in general.
Yeah,
so.
it is. That's why I'm saying that's a nice dude.
Yeah, and we did that before or afterwards with other people too. But either way, so we catch up to them, and they're like, oh, how'd you do? And we're like, oh, we called a little bit. We didn't say, we didn't want to say anything.
Check out
to
this
anyone.
fucking monster I got it.
We're not like, here you go, he's a 6 pounder. We're like, oh, we caught a couple more, but
we did We did all right.
So we bomb up there, and I think we got there with only like 20 minutes left. It was
It was
nasty.
pushing
It was nasty. It was like like 5 or 6 foot swells, 35 miles an hour. Like the tops of the white caps were flying off. Like it was nasty. Like it doesn't get much worse than it was. But we made it back up. Ended up weighing in. Like I kind of feel bad about this. We purposely waited till the end of the weighing. So there's only a certain amount of bags that you carry the fish up in, so you kind of have to share.
Yeah.
And we purposefully waited to the end because we're like,
if people see that shit, they're gonna be like,
we're doing pretty good. We just kind of want to see what other people are doing. And so the 2 people ahead of us weighed like 19.7 or something like that. And they're like, new leader. Oh, this is the new leader, 19.7. And our scale, which we kind of thought was light, was saying like 20 point something. And so we're like, we like literally, we're standing in line.
They get eyes at each other like.
Yeah, we're standing in line. We look at each other like, oh shit. And so we get up there and we're like, all right, yeah, you got a big fish. And we pull out the big fish and they weighed it. And we thought it again.
Cue the crowd.
Yeah, we again thought it was like 5.6 or something like that. And they weighed 6.02. Literally, both of us were like, fuck yeah, like high five and like, yeah, 6 pounder. You know.
By the way, proper reaction.
Yeah,
you know?
we could not contain it after that. And that was big fish. So we ended up winning big fish. And then they weighed our full weight, and it was like 21.7.
Fuck around.
And it was just,
dude.
we were like 2 pounds over
above
the next
second
person.
place.
And that was including the first day. The first day was also like 19 pounds. So it was just like, we found the fish that the entire tournament was trying to find on the second day. It was just... It was nuts.
Do you have GoPro footage of this?
I don't.
Damn it, man.
I did not.
Damn it.
I purposely... So, like... I don't want to film the boat tournaments as much because there is a lot of people who are very serious about that, and I respect that, and
Understandable.
I don't think it's as compelling footage as when I'm alone, because it's when someone else is dependent on me, like when Cameron's dependent on me, like I'm a teammate, I need to pull my weight, like
You can't be distracted.
yeah, I'm trying to focus. Like that's another thing. It's like when you're in a tournament, like you're casting 100%. Like you can eat some crackers, you can eat like a donut, drink some water.
While that other guy's casting.
Yeah, but you have to be on it 100% of the time. Like you are not like, well, I'm kind of tired. Let me just sit here for 15 minutes. Like, no, you are casting 100. Every time that you don't have like a piece of food or a water bottle in your hand, that rod better be fucking casting, you know?
Funny story, side note. One time, one of the tournaments that me and Matt fished, one of the big reasons is why I don't do tournaments, or why I should say why I can't do tournaments, is because I'm a musician and on weekends I have gigs.
Mm-hmm.
There was a turkey shoot, I think it was, on a Sunday, which is like a tournament, but a not so serious tournament, you know, like kind of one that another guy with a bass boat kind of puts together. And like, if you guys want to come out, it'll be fun. Matt's like, you want to go? Fuck it, let's go. I had a gig the night before, Saturday, got home around 3:30. I'm supposed to meet Matt in
like 5.
So I'm just like, dude, I'm not sleeping. I'm just going to drive out and I'll meet you there. And if I get there early, I'll snooze for 20 minutes.
Yep.
Dude.
It's tough.
We ended up actually doing pretty good that fucking tournament, but I'm not going to lie. I took a snooze on the fucking, on the boat during a tournament. I took a snooze. And Matt, he's a good guy. But he knew I was sleeping, and he hit the fucking gas, and we hit a roller, and I caught air while I was sleeping, and I thought we were dying. I thought we were gonna
wake
die.
up in a life or death
because
situation.
we launched near the falls. You know what I mean? On the Willamette River, the Willamette Falls. So in my mind, I'm like, don't go near the falls.
You just went off the falls.
And so I'm fucking this, and the next thing I know, we go like this, and I'm like, you motherfucker.
Oh, that's funny. No, it's serious. Dude, tournament fishing is serious. Like serious tournament fishing, like there's no joke. People take that seriously.
It gets gnarly. But how you said, I did not have GoPros for the same reason, because people are like blowing up the spots over here, buddy.
Yeah,
Like,
and
one is not that. I don't give a fuck about that, but it's like it's a team thing, and you don't want to be distracted. Like, hang on, I can't get the net. I'm trying to, you know.
Yeah. Yep. So with that said, so that was the first tournament. The second tournament that we won, like it's not as like crazy as a story like that where we had literally no fish and then we just completely exploded, but it was probably the cleanest fishing that we've ever done. It was like it was just pre-spawn again. I think it was like a couple weekends later. It was the different circuit, and we were up further in the Columbia, and it was literally like all the fish were paired up, like they were spawning, like they
Doing
were
the thing.
trying to spawn,
Doing the thing.
and we would like for the whole day just probably again like the most solid fishing we've ever had. We'd be
Right.
like, oh, we're casting there. Oh, fish on. This guy's a little small. There's a female there. We know there's a female there. Cast right back in. Like other person cast right back in, or we do like a jig versus spin bait. Cast right back in. Fish on. It's the female. Boom. Like no joke. Like 5 or 6 times. It was just like the most cleanest.
Nice.
We literally had it at the point where like we were casting along the bank. Like the big fish actually that we caught. It wasn't big fish at the tournament, but it was the big fish that we had. Like I cast in for like far down behind the boat. I'm reeling. I'm jigging. I get a bite, and I'm like, oh, I set the hook, and I hook it for like maybe 1 or 2 head shakes, like 1, 2, 3, and then popped off, and so it stung it. So obviously the fish isn't gonna bite right away again. But it's like that felt really big. That was a big fish,
so
you know.
Nice.
But I know I stung it, so it wasn't gonna bite right away.
Yeah.
So we go fish. We're fishing upriver, you know, just in like this little cove area, and you know we catch a couple more or whatever. Like, hey, listen, let's go back. And when you go back to that spot, just let me give him another chance. And so we go back. Cast that same spot, same exact thing, jig it, fish on, catch it again, just like
You know, it was the same
like,
one too. It's like a science.
Oh yeah, like
a
textbook.
formula.
It was just like
E equals MC hook set. You fucking bitch.
like it doesn't happen all the time.
I know
it
it
was
does.
just like the cleanest fishing that we've
And you
ever
know,
done.
that feels good when
Yeah.
when you got it dialed in.
Yeah.
You're just like you can tell your buddy like, hey, watch this.
I forgot to mention that last one. So that last one, we were doing shitty all day. We get to that spot. One of the very first fish we hook when we find that group, I bumped off with the net. So like literally, we had like 13 pounds. I bump off like a 3 or 4 pounder. I thought that I had just ruined the tournament. Like I felt truly like shit.
I've done that. I've done
Yeah,
that. When you go in
hit it,
and you hit
it dives
fish,
in a second, and you hit the side
and
of the
it
fish.
fucking comes on button, and you're like,
Yeah, and so I felt like truly.
and
I
then
felt
your
like
co-angler for
Yeah.
a second hates
Yeah, no,
you.
legit. And it's like, I feel so bad. And so, like, I carried that into the next 5 fish that we got that cold everything. And I was like,
Taking this
thank fucking God.
You get this
I
net
didn't
like this.
ruin- yeah. Thank God I didn't ruin the whole tournament because that one fucking fish. But yeah. But yeah, that second one, we just fished super clean. We came out on top. We got a lot of comments like, hey, you're really cramping our style. Like, you're not supposed to be winning this much. Like, what the hell are you doing or whatever?
Dude, well, I gotta fucking say congrats to you and congrats to Cameron as well because dude, that's so fucking cool.
It's
And
tough. There's some good sticks
I
out
cannot. You have to get back to me to let me know how you guys. If it doesn't get canceled on Sunday,
there.
how it goes.
I'll let you know.
You have to let me know,
I will.
dude. Before we go into it, I got there's on the whiteboard. There's a thing says the story, and I got there's no context to it. It's in caps and it's in fucking
Yeah.
bunnies.
It's a serious one. Change in tone. Do we want to talk about the kayak tournament first?
Yes. Okay. Before we get to the story,
Okay.
talk about the kayaks because you were talking about tournaments and you just talked about
That was the boat tournament.
the boat tournaments and you're fucking taking dubs on the kayak. So before we get to the nitty gritty and change the speed of things,
Yeah.
tell me how you're fucking taking people's money on kayaks too.
So kayak tournament's different. So I'm in the Northwest kayak fishing circuit or whatever, the Washington circuit.
So it's not OKBF.
It's OKBF, WKBF, and IKBF. So Oregon, Washington, Idaho. They each have a different circuit. But
Okay.
they're all
Okay.
under like the Northwest kayak fishing umbrella or whatever. I'm only fishing the Washington ones. So the first tournament, way out at Sprague Lake, way out near Spokane, like 6-hour drive.
Mm-hmm.
I catch 2 fish. I'm feeling really shitty. I gave up like an hour early. Somehow I make it in the top. I got 13th out of 60. It was the highest attendance of any starter tournament like ever.
Wow.
So that put me in the top 15%, and I got
Advanced.
top 25%. So I actually can, if I wanted to, I can go down to the regionals on the California Delta and fish just because of that. But I caught 2 fish in like the first 30 minutes, ended up in like top 15. I was like, fuck, this is ridiculous.
Uh-huh.
That is not very noteworthy. So I missed the second tournament because I actually went to the TBF, like a boat tournament. There was the same day, so
Oh, I see. So you gotta pick and choose which one you want.
if I have a team, obviously I'm going to go where the team is.
Yeah.
They're dependent on me. So
Yeah,
I
they're
went with
depending on you.
Cameron.
Yeah, they're counting on you.
So the latest one was down up in Castle Rock. It's Silver Lake.
Which, by the way,
hard.
you want to see a video of me and Zach at Silver Lake?
Did you go to Silver Lake?
We've been with you in Silver Lake. We were
Did you
paddling.
really?
We were paddling back with my cousin Delfino.
Oh yeah, that was terrible. I remember that.
We did so
tried to go
bad.
crappie fishing.
We did so bad,
Dude, that lake is tough.
It's tough.
So there's 39 anglers at that tournament. 39 fish caught total for 39 anglers. There was one person who caught 5 fish,
Wow.
and he got first place, and I got second place.
How many fish?
I got 4 fish.
There we go.
So I practiced twice. So I had like a week before I practiced and the day before I practiced. The week before I caught a single fish. It's like, I'm not confident. The day before I caught 3 fish, and I
You
was
were
like,
texting me, and you were like, "Hey, man, I'm killing shit, but we're going in the right direction."
yeah,
you were telling
like
me about this.
the trend was accurate. So I caught 3 fish the next day, and it was like a dink and then 2 decent ones. I was like, okay, I know where at least 3 decent fish are here. So tournament day comes, I bomb it direct. So there's like a region or area of the lake that I started in, or that I knew that there was 3 fish in. I was like, I'm going right there, beelining it, because I know that's where they were. So I go there. I have the bow mounted motor. This guy is actually Brandon Hua. If you're watching this, Brandon Hua, he's
know
another.
Brandon
Yeah,
Hua.
he's another. He started his YouTube with kayak fishing like this year, I think.
I think so.
He's got the Torpedo, the rear mounted one, and those things go fast.
I know.
I knew a shortcut. He did not know a shortcut. He still got there first. So I'm pulling up to my spot. I've pre-fished this. I was like, I know there's a fish on that bank. God damn it! He pulls up maybe 20 seconds ahead of me. I was like, come on, dude. Are you kidding me? And I watch him as he pulls up. I watch him cast 3 times and catch a fish. And so I immediately was like, he just caught that. He caught the one
You
fish.
caught my fish,
Yeah,
Brandon.
I didn't say anything.
You ain't gonna fucking believe this shit, bro.
Yeah.
Brandon,
I
get
know,
your ass up in here.
He's in Florida too. There's iCast or whatever.
Oh, that is true.
Yeah. But so we fished in that same little kind of a back corner and go along. I catch a little dink and we go by each other. I was like, "What's up?" He's like, "Oh, how are you doing?" I was like, "Just a dink." He's like, "I only caught a dink too." I was like, "You only got a dink, huh?" Because I knew he caught that one fish.
Oh, you say you got a dink?
Yeah. No, so I was like, "Oh, I pre-fished that bank. There was a big one there." And I was like, I drive right to that bank and I fish along kind of the other direction of him, like I fucking pre-fished. I fish maybe 200 yards further down, fish on 17.5 incher, just like they do length. They do length in kayak.
Yeah,
tournaments.
because kayak is length, not pounds.
Yeah, 17.5 inch. I was like, this is so that was,
Largemouth, by the way.
Yeah, largies this time.
RJ.
Yeah, largies this time. Which
I know. We'll get back to
continue
that.
into the
We'll get back
story.
to that.
Well, a couple things, but so I catch 17.5 fish, and that was 7:30. So the tournament goes from or it was 6:30. The tournament goes from 5 to 2:30.
Mhm.
So super early, catch 17 fish. I'm feeling, yeah, this is great. So I'm trying out the other spots where I pre-fished. Didn't catch anything. I didn't catch I caught a 7-inch fish at 11. Literally
Wow.
from 6:30 to 11, I caught nothing, and then I caught a 6-inch fish.
Question: do they have to have a minimum to
Yeah,
count?
has to be 12 inches.
At least 12, right?
Yep.
Okay.
So it's 11 o'clock. I catch a dink. I'm like, fuck, this is terrible. I'm jigging. I'm terrible at largemouth fishing. I'm not comfortable with largemouth fishing. It's only a largemouth lake. So I'm sitting there trying my best, doing everything that I was told. I talked to a couple of people, talked to Cameron, talked to the kids at Bob's or whatever. Hey, yeah, we won this tournament in May. Here's what you need to do. I'm doing everything they're telling me to. I'm not catching shit. So 12:45 rolls around. I pick up a spinnerbait. I'm throwing a spinnerbait, and I catch a 12-incher or 12.5 incher. I was like, I'm not putting the spinnerbait down. I got 45 minutes left. I'm not putting the spinnerbait down because I caught a fish, and I haven't caught anything for the past 6 hours.
And that's your confident bait on top of that.
And so I'm fishing the spinnerbait. I'm not putting it down. I drove into the Silver is lily pad central.
Yeah, it is.
And so I saw these these gaps in the lily pads way in the back, and I had been mowing through lily pads all day. So I'm going all the way back there. There's nothing else I can do. I'm
Right.
I'm in 15th place. I have nothing worth it. I'm just bombing my way to the back of this freaking lake, literally chopping up lily pads with my motor all the way back. So I get to the way back. I'm fishing, again, the spinnerbait, just casting against the bank, just burning water as fast as I can. So I get in the back and I like turn around. I'm like, where's the lane? So you like with lily pad fishing, like there's kind of lanes here and there where there's just kind of a gap.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea is that like there's fish that are chilling around these open areas and they're waiting for like a fish to swim by in front of them and ambush.
They'll ambush them.
Yep.
They'll hide in the cover and wait for something in the clear. And if they see something,
they'll jump out at them.
Yeah.
So like that's what I'm fishing the lanes with my spinnerbait. So I turn around. I'm in the back of the lake and I'm kind of looking to go back to the main water. And I see these lanes. I'm like, oh, let me cast in this lane. So I cast out. Literally, like I was watching the video of this earlier. Literally hits the water. I think I reel like half a crank, and I see this swirl just destroy it. I'm like, oh shit, and like reeling it. I was like, this is a big fish. Holy shit! Like I can't believe this happened. Like I was losing it because I hadn't caught a decent fish in like 7 hours.
Right.
And I'm reeling it in. I get it in. And I'm like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. I can net it. Like. Get it on the board, 18.5 inch. I was like, oh my god, this is nuts. And so I'm like, okay, I'm in it. I have a chance. Maybe I found something. Maybe I got this going. So I cast it again. And I think it was like 5 casts. I thought it was like 2 casts in my head, but it was like 5 casts later. It's another lane. I was like,
it's different when you go back to the video. Yeah. You're like, yeah, I noticed that too.
I was telling everyone, I was like, 2 casts later, 2
and then you
casts.
Go back to the video. I was like, oh, that was actually like 7 casts.
I can fast forward it though. I'll fast forward. So I cast
after the edit, it was 2 casts.
But I cast it in the same exact. I literally hit the water. I think I reeled it maybe 1 or 2 times. Just another monster. I see the swirl from the lily pad. Another monster. I hook it. I'm like, oh my god, this one's even bigger. And it's like pulling down. There's like a stick here. And in the video, I'm like, don't get stuck in the stick. Don't get stuck in the stick. Don't get stuck in the stick. And I pull it out of the water and net it. I was like, this is my biggest largemouth ever. Like literally my PB largemouth. And I pull it up and put it on the board 20 inches even. Like I didn't have time to weigh it because so I caught that first one at like 12 or like 110.
Mm-hmm.
The fit lines out at 130.
Oh shit.
So I caught the last one at 110. I caught this one at like 113 or whatever.
Uh-huh.
Or maybe like 150.
So you gotta.
So I'm like, I need to find another fish. I had 4 fish at that point. I had the 17, the 12,
you got
18,
7
and the
minutes.
20. I had like 10 or 15 minutes to catch a 5th fish, and I was like, I might have a chance to catch 5 fish. And I said at the beginning of the video, I was like, honestly, if I catch 5 fish, I think I'm in a good position. Just straight up. And so I measure him, throw him back. I couldn't weigh him. I was like, fuck, I can't weigh him because I don't have time. I'm pretty sure he was over 6 pounds too. Like he was a big fat. We can put a picture here.
And are you gonna make this into a video?
Yes, I do have all of this on.
Okay.
On
if it's
GoPro.
not out yet, come back and I'll put it in the comments.
Yeah.
The link of.
I'll try to
once it's
edit
out.
this week too. So.
Sweet.
But so yeah, 20-inch fish. So but they have a leaderboard on the app. So the kayak fishing is actually pretty cool. Where they have like an app, and you take a picture with the measurement. There's people who judge them and make sure they're valid, and then it puts it on the leaderboard that everyone can see.
A live like.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
Up until about noon. So at noon they say, hey, we're gonna shut the leaderboard down. So the last like a bit of the tournament, like you can't see that. But at noon, the biggest fish was 19. Or no, sorry, I got the 21-incher. My fish was 20 inches. The big fish before that was 20.5.
Okay.
And so I saw before they shut it down, I was like, 20.5 is the big fish. Early in the morning, he caught that really early. So I hooked to 20, and I was like, I might have the big fish. This might be the big fish. Like, I don't know what the leaderboard is because they shut it down, but from my knowledge, this is the big fish. And so I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy. I got maybe the big fish, and I have it was like 69.25 inches what I ended up with. So I'm like, fucking, I need another fish. I need another fish. I was like going. And like literally at 127 or 126.
You got like 4 minutes.
Yeah, I cast, and I got it stuck in a lily pad, and I jerked it, and the spinnerbait just broke off. I was like, blink. I was like, well, that's it. It was a Warriors send off to that spinnerbait, but I was done. So I packed it in, and that was it. And then we get to the weigh-in. No one knows who won because everyone goes to the weigh-in, or not weigh-in, but like the awards.
The kayak weigh-in.
Yeah, and it was like 10th place, 30 inches, so-and-so. Like 5th place with 46 inches, so-and-so. I was like, 5th place is fucking 46. I'm at like 69. Like, holy shit, that's a big gap between 5th and wherever I am.
Right.
3rd place, like 50s. I think it was like 51.
You're like,
it's like, holy shit. second place. It was me. I was like, oh my god, 69. I was like, second place. I did not expect that at all because Silver Lake is a tough lake, but I figured some people had it figured out. And first place, the only person who caught 5 fish. If I caught a 12-inch fish, the minimum size, I would have won.
Would have took dub. Here's the thing: you took big fish though.
Big fish and second. So, yep.
It's hard to complain with big fish in second.
It's like a $350 fish.
One time I caught a $800 fish, but I had to pay because I got 2 tickets that day. There's a video on YouTube. You can check that shit out too.
That's the universe evening out, you know. Yeah. So yeah,
I wish he got this on camera though. His dad scared the shit out of him.
That same. Was it that same trip?
Yeah.
It was that same trip. My dad's an asshole. I swear. It was me and my buddy Memo, dude. I'll make the story fucking quick. We had gone to this lake in Eugene. It's not a lake. It's a fucking pond. It's a pond behind a pond. This pond has no name. The big pond has a name. There's a smaller pond behind the big pond behind the fucking reservoir.
Yeah.
So we're like fishing the smallest of the 3 options. And we were just fucking around, throwing a brush hog. And from the bank, we caught 4 fucking bass. Mine was probably like a 3.5 pounder. I didn't weigh it. It was a nice one.
Little pond, yeah.
So I'm like, we should come back here next week with the boat. We knew. The thing is, though, to get to that back pond, you have to fucking boat across the first pond.
And carry your boat.
To the small pond. And the thing is, we're like, well, let's just fish the first pond for a little bit. We're here. We fishing and whoop. Can you guys boat over here, please? Sheriff. One of those.
Tell me you had a fucking life jacket.
It was a life jacket, bro.
Again.
It was a life jacket.
They get you more than once, man.
That's true, because the next time I got cited for life jackets, it was with you. Yeah. The first time I got cited for life jackets. And, dude, I was planning on bringing them, but I had left them out the night before because we were going to go fishing. So I had them out.
Yep.
And it had, like, Mountain Dew, you know, like in the morning when they're wet.
Condensation.
And I forgot to put them in because they were wet. It was my mistake. Anyways, that was ticket number 1 for both of us because we were both fishing and there was no. Anyways, he didn't let us continue fishing till I ran to the Bymar and bought 2, which are the blue ones that I have now. By the way, I still have those ones.
Learn your lesson.
I learned my lesson, or so I thought.
Sometime, a little bit. You know.
Anyways, we finally boat across. We carry the boat to the back pond. Fishing hard, bro. Fishing hard, and they're not biting brush hogs. And I'm like, maybe a moving bait. Throw a chatterbait. Throw a spinnerbait. We didn't throw a drop shot. I feel like if we would have thrown a drop shot, we would have figured it out.
Drop shot's like the desperation. It's always.
I know.
You always catch a fish on drop shot.
I know that now, and I didn't back then. Anyways, we ended up catching one. I caught one on the brush hog, casting into the fucking like the shits where it's like a risky cast where you're like, I hope I catch a fish because if I don't, I might get fucked right here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Caught one, got a picture. GoPro started dying, battery started dying. So I'm like, whatever.
Welcome to the gig.
And here's the thing. Father Mike used to live around there. One of our family friends. My dad was visiting. We were all visiting, but we had told Father Mike that we're going to go fish this lake. We parked the boat. We're kind of just like taking a breather, taking a break, whatever. Our GoPros are dead. Unfortunately, because when we had got to the lake the last week before, we had noticed some rummage, like homeless evidence, you know, maybe like there's somebody living here.
Yeah.
We had noticed that. So mental note.
No, I'm laughing.
Oh, okay. Mental note, maybe, you know, just keep it down. We're there chilling. My GoPro's dead. I have a rod in my hand, but I'm not fishing. I'm just like, fuck. Because we're mentally preparing for taking the boat back to the pond to go home.
Yeah.
So we're just like, you ready? Yeah. And then we hear someone from the fucking brush line in the trees. Hey! And we're like, was that for us? And then I'm like, where'd that come from? And my buddy goes, I think it was. And then he looks like, dude, there's a fucking guy over there. Like with the hood on looking at us like going like
Your
this.
hair starts.
Yeah. And I'm like, don't pay attention to him. He's like probably drugging out. Or maybe he's, you know what I mean? Like, don't. And then again, hey, what are you guys doing? And I'm like.
Harder to ignore.
Yeah. And I'm like, we're just fishing, man. Like, what's up? You guys can't fucking be here. And we're like, what? You guys got to get out of here. I'm going to kill you. He said
what
that.
The fuck?
He said that, dude. and then he's going like this, like kind of more, and he's hooded. We can't see him. He's just a guy in a black hoodie, kind of like,
You get the fuck out
you
of
guys
it.
got to get the fuck out of here. We gave away the punchline already, but dude, he starts running towards us, but with like a gorilla, like a, hey, what the fuck? And dude, it's fight or flight. I have my rod with me, dude. I fucking start running. I'm gonna hit him with my fucking 6'6" medium heavy Abu Garcia. Fucking, I have nothing else. In hindsight, I have a pocket knife in my backpack. It doesn't click. Dude, he runs towards me. He takes off and it's my dad. I'm like, you son of a fucking dude. He's like, you're recording, right? And I'm like, nope. He did it because he thought we were recording. He thought he was doing it for the video, for the bit. But joke's on you, Dad.
Oh man.
But ask me if I shat myself.
Yeah, right. You're like, that's why I can see okay.
Dude, we haven't been back. I'm like, it kind of like, well. Thank you for bringing that up, fucking.
That's funny.
I should have recorded that.
Yeah.
That's okay. We can clip it. I'll put it on fucking TikTok or fucking something later.
I know, right? That shit was hilarious. He told me. His dad told me.
Yeah. I got Manda so bad.
He got me good. He got both of us good. He told me my dad exaggerates because when he tells a story, he tells it differently.
Yeah.
In his favor, he's like, I started running toward him, and Mondo started taking his rod, going like that. You should hear my dad tell the story. He paints it a lot prettier and funnier, but I tell the truth. God damn
Yeah,
it!
I'm sure. Yeah.
Throwing a fucking brush hog into a murderer. Fuck, man. Scared the shit out of me. You ready for the story?
Can I pee first?
Pee break.
Pee break.
All right, we have since unfluided ourselves. Dude, you have to fucking tell me this fucking story. And I think we should preface it with, if you're not a bitch, then
It's
No,
it is the most intense situation I've ever been in my life. It's the most graphic situation I've ever been in my life.
And you asked me before we started rolling, because you told me, you prefaced the story for a second. You asked me, how graphic do you want it? And I'd say, let's balls to the wall. Tell me what happened. Paint me the picture as graphic and as detailed as possible.
Yeah.
So disclaimer,
Yeah,
viewer,
disclaimer.
listener discretion advised.
And like to preface this, like Jess and I talked, my wife Jess and I talked, like, and like we're still affected by it. Like
I'm sure.
during the day, like I'll have
dramatic.
yeah,
Dude.
I'll have like I'll think about it and I'll have just like that pulse of anxiety that you feel in your chest. And she, like, if she talks about it, she'll like shake a little bit. Like it's but we decided that like talking about it is at some level like cathartic, which
It
is
is.
why I'm okay talking about it. Like
Right.
I would totally understand if some people didn't want to, but I feel like
Right.
it's
Because that's also some people, how they should fucking suppress. They're like, you know
Yeah.
what, I'll try to like.
or it's like everyone copes with stuff differently.
Exactly.
Legit. And this is like a truly traumatic experience. Yeah.
So please, the floor is yours. I need to know.
So, today is the 14th.
It is the
Yeah.
14th.
So this happened 10 days
10
ago,
days ago.
on July 4th. I live up in Longview, and I live in a pretty small neighborhood, like houses, pretty much about where you are. Houses are pretty close together. It's smaller lots, like older neighborhoods, so the houses aren't really far apart or anything. They're not like the sardine houses nowadays,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is nice, but they're not super far apart.
The sardine house? Oh, it's not like the
Yeah,
sardine
not
house.
like
I thought you were
sardine
talking about like those nice sardine houses.
Dude,
with,
they
like,
make those new sardine houses, like, cram as many people as you can, but yeah. Not like that.
You fart and your neighbor smells it. It's
Yeah. But so I live 2 doors down from where this happened. It was about midnight. It was actually at midnight. All the fireworks are kind of winding down. We're up in like a county where fireworks are allowed, so it's just like anarchy up there. Crazy fireworks up there, like all evening. It was just kind of winding down.
As an Oregonian, I'm jealous of Washington's fireworks. Anyways.
Well, just Cowlitz County. Clark County is the same regulations.
Oh,
as
is it
here,
seriously?
Yeah. So
Oh.
further north is a little less regulations, but yeah, so fireworks going crazy. It's winding down. It's like midnight, and Jess and I are just kind of hanging out on the computers, chilling, playing games, or like watching videos or something like that. We hear this explosion, like there's a lot of like rednecks or dumb people up in Longview who make their own fireworks, like or launch off like M80s or M100s or whatever, and it's like boom, oh that's a big firework, whatever.
Yeah. But you could tell the difference between this.
This firework shook the house, and then the house creaked. Like it was like literally shook the house, and then a second later the entire house creaked, and I was like, what the fuck was that? And I was like, okay, someone just lit off a really big firework, right? So I'm like, I go outside. I'm like, I put my sandals on. I'm like, I want to see like the crater. It had to have been close, obviously.
Yeah.
I want to see the crater that this thing made.
You're 2 houses down.
Imagine, I didn't know that at the time.
Right. But I'm just like in hindsight, like you shook your house 2 houses down.
Yeah. So I walk out and I go towards the direction of it, which is like out my door to the left, and I see like smoke coming up in someone's yard, like my neighbor's yard. So I like go over and I was like, oh, let me see what crazy crater they left. And I peek over. It's like, oh, no, it wasn't their house. It's coming from like one more house down. And so I start walking out to the road again. And about that time, I hear this woman like screaming, like hysterical, bloody murder, like immediately like something's wrong. Like,
click.
Oh,
like,
it's serious.
This is emergency status.
Yeah, like it went from like, oh hey, what dumbass blew a hole in his yard to like,
oh fuck,
like that chill down your spine, like something's wrong.
Fuck.
Like something's wrong, like something's seriously wrong.
My bad.
So I'm like immediately like the chill down my spine, like my heart starts going a little bit, like I could tell something was wrong, and so I walk up and I see this lady on the phone like screaming, like all I could hear saying was like, help my love, save my love, oh my god, he blew his legs off. And I was like, at this point I came around the corner and they have a detached garage, and I see that the garage door was blown off, like the whole, like the sliding garage door that goes up, blown off completely, and there's fire in the inside, and I immediately I'm like 100% like, oh my god, something's like actually wrong. And so in my head, like I've never been in a situation like this. I've never been in like a drastic emergency situation. But my first thought was like, I go over to her. I was like, "Are you on the phone with 911? Are you on the phone with 911?" She's so far
detached,
gone.
like, yeah.
She's just screaming
She
into the
doesn't
phone.
even know.
And so I go up close to her. I'm like looking at this garage. And she's up in the driveway a little bit. And I do hear the responder on the phone like talking to her, like, "Ma'am, stay calm. Ma'am,
It is
stay calm.
911.
Ma'am, tell me where you are." And she's like trying to relay the address, like literally hysterical. And so my first thought was like, okay, she's on with 911. I don't need to call 911. And I look over and I see the fire in the back, and I see a body, like a silhouette of a man, like in front of the fire, like writhing around. And my head just goes into like, oh shit. Like all I heard was that someone blew his legs off. There's a fire. There's someone who is literally in the fire. I need to help. Like I need to do something. And so my brain went, I need to get stuff to help. So like my head only heard that his legs are blown off. I saw that he was in the fire. So in my head I was like, I need to go get like towels, and tourniquet. Tourniquet. So like my brain's like, immediately I turn around. I'm in flip flops. So this is kind of the funny part.
You're like,
I'm in flip flops. I'm sprinting past my neighbor's house. My neighbors come out. They're already like, they heard it. They were out a second after I was. They heard it. They're like, what's happening? So this is the funny part thinking back. Like I'm sprinting in flip flops, and alls I yell at them because they're like, what's happened? I was like, the dude fucking blew his legs off. And like to me, like that was 100% serious. Like that's all I heard. That's the information that I had. I literally was like, the dude blew his legs off. I'm running to get supplies.
Right.
I bust into my door because it was just one door down. Bust into my door. My wife had heard it. She was in the bathroom and she's like, what's going on? And again, the dude fucking blew his legs off, like 110% serious. I run into our like hall closet, grab like whatever bath towels we had. It was like 2 or 3 of them. And I had just bought cam straps because I bought a truck.
Right.
And I needed stuff to tie down stuff in the back of the truck. So I just bought a pack of cam straps.
What are those, like fucking ratchet straps?
They're like kind of straps that you put through and then you can pull them tight instead of ratcheting them tight. Okay. But they're just like, they can hold a lot of weight or whatever. And so like I knew where those were, and I knew where the towels were, and I knew where paper towels were. So I got a handful of towels. I got a handful of paper towels. I ran out to the truck and grabbed a bundle of cam straps, and I sprint back. And my wife is behind me, like literally. All she heard is me yelling 100% serious. Someone blew their fucking legs off. And so like I'm running, she's right behind me. I get there, and my neighbor that I yelled at just a second ago, like on the way by them, had actually gone into the garage and pulled this man out of the burning building.
Out of the flames.
He was on fire too, and this lady who was no longer on the phone with the police had like a garden hose and was hosing him off because I think he was on fire too.
The guy pulling him out too?
No, the guy who would blow himself up was on fire, and so she was trying to put him out with a garden hose. And my neighbor pulled him out of the burning building. And so by the time I got back, which must have only been like 30 seconds later because I was booking it, he was out in front of his garage, maybe like 10 feet away from the fire. And I get back and kind of see like what the situation is.
Yeah.
And from what I can tell, because there was no like bright lights or anything, there was light from the fire. And there was like someone was like moving around their phone light or whatever. And all I see was that his leg was gone. Like from my visual, there was no more leg, and both of his hands were gone. Like gone. just shredded. Like literally I am a child of the internet, and I will admit that I have like a morbid curiosity. And like you see like on Reddit or whatever, you see posts that are like, hey, this is not safe for work. Oh, firework accident or whatever.
Yeah, people blowing their shit up.
Yeah, if you've seen stuff like that, like that's what it was. Like is truly this guy's hands. Like one of them was literally like just two kind of like almost like a claw, but it was just bone and blood. And Jess says it was like worms, like flesh worms, but a lot of people say it's like ribbons or whatever.
This is a stupid reference, but have you seen Tropic Thunder?
One of my coworkers actually was like, was it like that? And I was like, a little more realistic than that, but the right idea. Yes,
that's where because I haven't seen it, so my first trying to picture it is the fucking. Have you seen the movie Tropic Thunder with Ben Stiller and Jack Black? You gotta watch it.
Yeah, you're like,
what do you mean, you people? Sorry.
Yeah, you're like, so that movie is maybe like 70% there.
Really? So it's like another 30% of holy fuck on top of that.
Yeah, but so he's pulled out. He's on the pavement. He's awake and conscious, and he's like moving around, and like you can see him moving his arms and trying to move what remains of his hands. And I got there, and so I see this, and I just blank out. Like I dropped all the stuff I brought, and I no joke started hyperventilating. Like I'm like hyperventilating, seeing this scene of this man who in my head, and if I were to have to put money on it, if I were to bet, I would think he was gonna die. Like no joke. After what I saw, I would not have assumed that he was gonna survive. So I get there, I start hyperventilating. Like I've never been in a situation like this. I don't have first aid training. Like I don't know what to do. And so I like literally hyperventilating for maybe like I don't know, 10 seconds. The time is weird in this situation.
Yeah.
But my wife gets there right behind me, and sees everything, and she yells at me. She's like, Zach, like, get the towel on now. So I'm like,
kind of brings you back, like, okay.
Yeah, and so I grabbed one of the...
Fuck, man, that's hard.
Yeah, I just threw everything on the ground because I was like, my brain just couldn't process what was happening. So I was like, literally, here's everything on the ground, and then hyperventilate. And so like, snap out of it. I grab a towel, and at the moment, like, what I thought was the worst thing was that his leg was gone. Like, in my head, like so to frame this, all of the experience I've ever had with any sort of like first aid or injuries or major trauma like this has been from like movies or TV shows.
Right.
And so like all those war movies where they get shot in the leg and it hits the femoral artery, and it's like, that's the bad one where you die in a couple seconds. So my brain was like, his leg's gone, so that must be the worst part of it. So I immediately got the towel and like put it on his leg, like after snapping out of it, and like start applying pressure.
Because there's arteries in that motherfucker. Like,
Yeah, and then so I was like putting pressure on this, and I was trying to get the lady who had like she was like hosing water into his wounds, which I'm assuming that's not great.
Right.
I'm like yelling at her, and then like afterwards she like wandered back to the garage and started like hosing water on this like actually roaring fire.
Right.
And so I'm sitting there with pressure on it. I'm like, I kind of like after I snap out of it, I'm like, okay, action mode. I need to fucking
do something.
Yeah, no one else is doing that. I need to do something. So I'm literally yelling at her. I was like, is there anything else explosive in there? For one, she's still completely out of it. Like,
yeah, was that the only motherfucking
Yeah,
bomb?
yeah.
Right.
She's just completely. She has no. She's screaming like, "My love! Oh my God! What happened? My love! I can't. Like, please save my love! Oh, what did I do? This like literally psychosis level of hysteria."
Yeah.
And so I can't get like an answer. Like, is there explosives in there? No idea.
Right.
And so I'm like, you need to put pressure on this. Help me put pressure on this. You need to like put pressure on this right now, like the towel, because there was other shit that needed to happen. So she comes down. She like puts her hand on it. And then, like, she can't
Freaks
handle
out
it.
again.
She's just like, I'm out. So she wanders off. So I'm, like, sitting there, like, putting pressure on it. Jess, my wife, is on the other. So I'm, like, he's on his side, and I'm behind him, and Jess is in front of him. And I was like, Jess, you need to use those cam straps and tie up his arms, like tourniquet. Like, you need to, as tight as you can.
Stop the circulation if you can.
As tight as you can. Tie him up. So she got a cam strap, and, like, she's trying to, like, she had a towel. She was trying to, like, put the towel on his hands, just whatever could possibly help. And then she grabs a cam strap, and, like, the whole time she's like, I'm sorry, sir. Sir, this is going to hurt. I'm sorry. Like, you're going to be fine. Trying to talk to him. I had after we had sat there for a second, I would start trying to talk to him too, but, like, that was not in my head at all. But my wife was trying to do that. And so she took one of the cam straps and, like, wrapped it around and tried to tighten it, and then took the rest of it. It was like a long cam strap.
Yeah.
And, like, tied it around the other one as best she could. But he's still, like, moving around and, like, trying to be alive,
like,
you know?
you think you guys are in shock, you know?
Yeah.
Imagine that guy, so.
And so, like, and then there were other people, and it was bizarre, and this is probably one of the weirdest parts about it, was I remembered... One thing I will say that I remembered is that, like, when you're in a crowd or when there's like if there's a traumatic situation and there's a crowd that's just watching and you just yell for help, like, there's like a crowd mentality where no one jumps in to help because they assume that someone else is going to jump in and help.
I've heard something about this, and I heard, like, if you're the one who needs help in a crowd, don't ask the crowd
you have to
for
call them out.
Call one person. Look at you. You help me.
So I remembered that.
You knew that.
I'm holding this man. I assumed I was holding this man's, like, whatever leg was left of his leg on, and I'm yelling, like, you, like, get that other towel, put pressure right here. Like, I was yelling at a explicit person, giving them explicit directions, like, trying to get help. Because at this point, it's literally like our neighbor pulled him out of the building, and he was out, which is fine. Like, dude pulled a man out of a burning building, like, fucking he's done for the day, like, he's done for the fucking decade, right?
He clocked out.
Yeah, he's good. And so Jess and I are the only two people who are trying to help him, and I'm like, you help, like, there's towels right there, get Jess, like, paper towels, like, trying to direct this person, and no one else is doing anything.
Did that guy who you were directing
no
he
like dropped a towel next to Jess or something like that, and it was like, I'm out. And it was so bizarre because, like, I tried to call him out, and there was just so many other people there. And, like, no, it was all just bystanders, just staring, like. And it's not just like me yelling. I'm screaming, like, this is the most traumatic thing that's ever happened to me. Screaming. I thought that I had damaged my lungs afterwards because of, like, weird chemical smoke inhalation. And in reality, I had just hyperventilated and screamed probably louder than I ever had before, trying to get help from people. And no one fucking helped. And so, like...
That pisses me off a little bit.
Yeah. So in my head, it felt like 30 seconds. Like, literally, I thought that I had been holding pressure on this man's leg for about 30 seconds, and then the paramedics arrived. I guess it was probably, like, 8 or 10 minutes. Like, that's what Jess says. Like, oh, yeah, it was actually more like 8 or 10 minutes. And I was like, time didn't
exist at that time.
Yeah. So, like, the cops, or not the paramedics get there, and, like, they're just, like, sauntering up, like, slowly. I was like, like, still yelling, like, over here, help, over here. Like, just fucking,
Yes.
because they're, I mean, and it makes sense. Like they're still assessing the scene. They have no idea what's going on, but I'm like trying to get their attention. Like,
You're trying to fucking insinuate how fucking
Yeah.
the severity of what the fuck is going on.
And so the paramedics get there, and I'm holding the pressure on, and I was like, dude, this guy doesn't have a leg.
Right.
Like when I let go, there's nothing there, like to my
Right.
knowledge. But they had like their big lights and everything, so I let go, and they moved the towel because they needed to, actually address it with medical equipment and everything. And I got kind of the first good view of what that looked like, and his leg was still there, but it was like a deflated balloon. Like it was shredded, and there was like, you could tell that his flesh was just completely ripped apart, but like it wasn't like gone. It was just like
attached, but
like
with
you assume that a leg goes down like that if you're laying on your side, but it was like the hip, and then it just kind of collapsed in on itself, and then it was just like flat, but it was still there. So I was like holding down on like not what I assumed was the missing leg, but like just a deflated. It was really
what
weird.
was left of.
Yeah, and like, so and I yelled at them too. I was like, I don't know if there's anything else explosive in there. Like, I couldn't get any information. I don't know if anything else is going to explode. And so they were really quick about it. They got him on a gurney and got the fuck out of there. And like the fire department came, and I was very, very impressed with how fast they put out the fire. Like they got the big hose in there, and it was out.
It was
really,
gone
really quick. Yeah, but I lost my phone during all this, and I was wandering around like kind of in shock, and like trying to find my phone because like he was out of my hands, and like
the pros arrived.
Yeah, I had like blood on me, and so I'm like, and Jess had blood on her, and we're just kind of like in shock, and my head was just like, I need to find my phone because like I don't want to deal with finding my phone in the morning with there's whatever, and so I found my phone. And it was next to where the guy was laying, and the fire people were like yelling at me and shit. I was like, I picked up my phone. I was like, this is what I wanted. I'm out. This is all I needed. And then, like, we stood around, like, just kind of in shock, covered in blood or whatever, for a couple minutes, and like no one. I don't really know like what the protocol is about situations like that, but no one really like came to us for questions or anything. So we just like wandered back home and like washed ourselves off. Like again, just.
The paramedics didn't ask you anything?
No. The police didn't. It just, yeah. All the news said was like, oh, yeah, when the paramedics arrived, like, police and bystanders were providing first aid.
And bystanders.
I was like, the police didn't get there first. The first person that came was a paramedic, and I was the bystander. Jess and I were the bystanders. And, yeah, it was very traumatic. Like
I can't even begin to fucking imagine. First of all, I want to thank you for fucking taking action while all these fucking sightseers.
I felt so like that at the time. I remember like when I was standing there trying to figure out what to do. Like I remember like part of panicking, hyperventilating. Like I turned to Jess and I was like, "Dude, he's dead. Like there's nothing we can do.
Right?
There's nothing we can do." Just part of that whole shock, and like we both Jess and I felt like 100% useless. Like we felt that nothing we did helped because it was just so
severe.
It was just beyond anything that like, oh yeah, obviously if there's a guy with a cut or whatever, yeah, but he was just so far gone that we just felt completely useless. In fact, like we're signing up for a first aid course now, and we bought a trauma kit the next day because like I don't want to be that useless again. I hope I never have to use that shit.
Right. God forbid you have to use it, right?
Yeah, but I'm not like, we truly felt like completely useless. And like one of my coworkers used to be EMT, and like we told him about it, and he's like, honestly, like you did exactly what you should have done.
I'm not an EMT, but I'm like, I can't say what I would do in that situation because I've never been in that situation. But what you're telling me sounds like what you should have done.
So like he basically said like you did what you needed to do. Like you like doing something is better than doing nothing, and like putting pressure and trying to tourniquet and just trying to do something is more than like all those bystanders, more than what most people would do. but it doesn't help. Like even being told that, and some people, like some coworkers and some people I've told are like, you saved that guy's life. It's like, I don't feel, even today, I don't feel that way. Like I
Right.
still feel like we were 100% useless. When we heard that he was alive, what we both, like Jess and I both
So that I was going to
agreed-
ask you that. He's alive today.
So he's alive. We learned that he was alive the next day. So there was a post on Nextdoor from the lady, the hysteria. She actually got carted off in an ambulance too. Like she was truly just
Like,
gone.
just gonzos,
like
yeah.
her mentally, she was just gone. So she had to get carried away in the ambulance. She made like a post on Nextdoor being like, fireworks are terrible. You know, my husband was blown up, blah, blah, blah. And then she set up a GoFundMe, and she actually had updates around like his status. The post and the GoFundMe has since been taken down for, I don't know why. There was a lot of like back and forth discourse around fireworks and shit. So I'm assuming that people got upset with her and she took it down or whatever.
Oh, probably.
But last I heard, he was in a coma. They had to amputate 3 limbs so that he lost both arms and a leg, and they had to. And he was in a coma, and they had to do like follow-up surgeries to get shrapnel out of his colon and out of his intestines, and also follow-up surgeries to make sure that the amputations were like clean or whatever. But and then the latest update is like, I guess he opened his eyes and was responsive a couple days ago, so he's like stable now. Like he was in critical condition in a coma, but then he's since been stable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Just not dead.
I would not have put money on that. Like I'm glad he's alive. Like honestly, if he died, like my brain would have immediately spiraled and been like,
Yeah.
what if I did something wrong? Like what if I made it worse?
Yeah.
And even though he survived, like I still like
But here's
I
the
didn't
thing,
do
man.
I didn't help anything. I'm useless. But like people are like, oh, you might have helped save his life. Like you
I'm-
very well
I'm
might have
about to
saved
tell
life.
you might have saved his life because I'm glad he didn't die because if that were me, like how you said, that would have been torture because that's you questioning your action. Like,
Yeah.
what if I did this wrong? What if I did this wrong? I wasn't trained. I should have been trained. I'm not trained. But dude, you're the only one jumping in this motherfucker,
Yeah.
dude. So it's like, what do you want? What else? Given this situation, the best case scenario, you did the best thing that you could have done, and I think because of you and Jess, this dude survived, dude. If you don't jump in, this dude bleeds out. His wife's not helping. The bystander's not. You know, it's a thanks that your next door neighbor pulled him out.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
Well, I was running back with the supplies, and my first, like in my head, I was like, I'm gonna have to pull this man out of a burning building.
Yeah.
that was my first like step one,
I'm gonna
and
pull
then
him out.
I came back and I was like, oh, he's already out.
Okay, so I mean, props to that guy.
Yeah,
That's-
seriously. Legit.
Nobody jumps in a fire to pull somebody out. So
Yeah.
that's you have to be. He left after that, and that's okay. He
Yeah.
deserved.
He hung around, but he was not like actively helping. with
But
the
I'm
first
saying,
aid.
if you don't hop on this dude with towels and tourniquets, dude, that's 100% guaranteed. That like that's
yeah, it's not. There's no positive in.
there's no
anything,
positive. There's no positive outcome.
Yeah. No, it was crazy.
So I mean, it's mad. It's mad traumatizing, dude. It really is. Just hearing it, I wasn't even there, and I feel like because you painted it so well, I feel like I was there with you. And man, it's I want to believe that I would have acted the same way as you did, but and I mean until it happens.
Yeah, like I said it before, like I'm the child of the internet. I've seen pictures and shit like that. It's just 100% different when it's like real life and you're
Man,
there.
man, no,
But
I think you did the right thing. I believe you did the right thing, and I'm proud that you did the right thing, and I'm glad that you're my friend. I can say that my friend's the guy that helped that guy out. You know what I mean? So I thank you for fucking helping him because then you tell me that the other people are just in around, and that just pisses me off, man.
Jess and I were both pissed about that.
I remember when you were telling me about it because it was still fresh when you told me about it the first
Yeah.
time. It was a couple days after, and you're like, dude, I'm pissed about these other people not jumping in. And
Yeah.
at first, I didn't. I mean, yeah, it's pissed. You know, it causes anger when you say it. But now that I'm like
It's
at
tough
this
because
level
like,
with you on it, it's like
is it fair to even just like think that? Because like, how is a regular person gonna be like,
I
yeah,
know.
I'm gonna go
I
help
know,
or whatever.
right?
It's
But
like,
you would think that if there's a man about to die, there would be more than a crowd watching. Like, oh fuck, hopefully he makes it. Well, like, you know what'll be a better chance of him making it is if you fucking grab a towel and come out and apply some
Yeah.
pressure with me. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Yeah.
I don't want to dwell too much on that because that's like the negative part of the situation. But I want to focus more on the positivity and that's you and Jess fucking
Yeah.
doing what you guys did. So that's good. That guy survived, bro.
Yeah, I'm glad. I
That's
still hit they haven't cleaned anything up there, so I still drive past it every day. I'm like, oof.
It's still a fucking ruckus.
Yeah.
The garage door is still blown down, bro.
They haven't touched anything. Like, I know for a fact that there are still pieces of him
On that
laying
driveway.
on that driveway. Yeah, there are pieces of him on us.
Fuck, man.
Yeah, like just we came home and like we're like, all right, we clean up, and like the dogs were like licking our shoes
Oh,
and
no,
like
no, no, no,
yeah,
no,
I
no.
know, it was weird. Like it just
Yeah, that's a tough one, man. What'd you got? Here's a stupid question. What'd you guys do with the towels?
left them there. Not our towels anymore. Not touching those again. The cam straps are all there.
Mhm.
Not touching anything. They can burn it.
So you get a new truck, and the first thing this truck witnesses is the dude fucking blowing this fucking shit up. Welcome home, fucking Toyota
Yeah,
Tacoma
right.
2021.
Yeah, it was insane.
Fucking shit, dude. That is fucking probably one of the wildest stories I've heard on this fucking podcast, bro.
Like I said, it was the most traumatic thing that's ever happened to me. I was trying to think like, what else has happened to my like I've had a pretty fucking
Yeah.
thinking back, I've had a pretty chill life overall. Like
Right. And
my
that,
dad broke his ankle and I had to drive like 30 minutes to go help him, but the ambulance was already there when I got there. So it's
right. Yeah, that could easily take the cake in most people's lives, bro.
Yeah.
Even people who have gone through some shit. This is some shit.
Yeah.
Bro. Like, so.
And it's funny too, because like before that, I'd be like, everyone kind of thinks about it, like, what would I do in a traumatic situation? Like, what if I saw this picture of some dude who didn't have hands? Like, what would I do?
Right.
Like, you just get in the back of your head for like a moment. You're like, I don't know. Doesn't
Mhm.
matter because it's not here.
Right.
Like, I remember like seeing him on there, and I'm like, this is fucking real. This is that situation that I
Shit.
thought about. You know?
Just didn't even hit the fan. It fucking hit the fucking torque, bro. It's
Yeah.
like fucking shit. So I'm glad you fucking hopped in, bro. And I do wish you and Jess both, as much mental healing as you guys can, because that you don't just brush something like that off and like
Yeah.
the next day is like, this coffee tastes great this morning. You know, it's like
We,
that's some shit that lingers with you.
yeah.
So
we took the next day off. We're not working, and it was a little slow to kind of like get back into the groove. But I think overall, like all things considering, we're both doing pretty decent. Like we're both kind of like that morbid curiosity. So like the visual part of it,
yeah,
but like the actual activity, and it was
the
we
actuality
still get a
of
little
it.
anxiety like here and there, but overall, like I don't think we're doing too bad.
That's good. And I think how you said earlier, I think talking about it does kind of,
Yeah.
you know,
100%.
it's not fucking stitching up the wounds, but you know, you're
Yeah.
helping them out. So that's good, bro. Thank you for fucking talking about that with me, dude, because I know that's a fucking tough one to fucking
Yeah,
dive
it
deep on.
was wild.
That's like reliving it. So it's like,
Yep.
fucking shit, bro. That's actually fucking wild. Dude, fucking change the gear. GTA. What the fuck
Oh,
is GTA?
God.
God damn it.
So fucking Longview. No. So this is another story about Longview. So we moved. So it's funny because like this situation, that last story, kind of made us step back and be like, we lived in an apartment in Vancouver for like 7 years, and the most crazy thing that happened in those 7 years was like our neighbor in the other apartment across the way had like a heart attack and had to have an ambulance come pick him up.
Mhm.
Like that was the craziest shit that happened. Like, oh, there's an ambulance out there. And
Right.
took a guy on a gurney, like super common.
Right.
So after this, we're like, in Longview, we've lived there for just 2 years now, just over 2 years. Like literally, that event happened 2 years and 10 days actually after we lived there.
After moving in.
So like this story, we were there like a couple months ago. It was longer than a couple months. This is like maybe 6 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
We're sitting there. We both work from home, and we're both in the front office. So the front office faces the road and like the main road,
Uh-huh.
so we can see people driving by. And, delivery guy comes in. Oh, garbage truck goes by. So we're sitting there in a meeting. We have a morning meeting that the whole team was a part of. We both work in the same company. At the time, we worked in in the same department.
Oh, nice.
So we're in the same meeting. We're all doing like our daily recap or whatever, and we hear this car like, zzz, like rev up like rah, and then like it sounded like you put a bunch of bolts in a tin can and like, I'm like, what the fuck? We'll look out the window. We're live on a meeting, like with a camera on and everything. I think we had a camera on and everything. And we're both like, look over, what's going on? And this like old sedan just kind of like putts up in front, like right in front of our house, like literally in the road, just right in front of our house. And we're like, what's going on? And then this dude jumps out of the back passenger door. So like he drove it here, but he did not get out of the driver's door. He got out of the back passenger door.
Not even the cross.
Not
the
even,
back
yes.
cross.
He had just like gym shorts on. So he's half naked, gym shorts on, and he has a white towel. And so he climbs out of the back car, holds up a towel just like full like this, and just sprints away. Like just sprinting away with a white towel, just towel like just shorts, like 100% naked under that. We're watching him like just like run down the road like, what the fuck just happened? Like, what the hell is going on here? And then like we're on the meeting, we're like,
sorry about that, guys.
Hold on, guys. Some weird's going on. And then we see another guy run back to the car, like a different guy run back to the car, and then that first guy run back to the car as well. And so the other guy gets in the driver's seat, and he gets into the passenger seat, and we hear the car go, and then the can of fucking rattling bolts like literally sounds like they're just rattling a can of bolts in the car engine, and then like it kind of slides forward a little bit, and then they give up, and both of them jump out
again
and just sprint the other direction, and we're like,
what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, we're like, we'll be right back 1 second. There's some weird shit going on outside.
Guys, quick recess.
Yeah.
Quick 5.
And so it turns out, so like after that, we're like, what the fuck's going on? We walk out, and we're just like looking. They're just like running down. They like ran through someone's yard into the alley and shit. And then this guy in the Tacoma comes up, and a cop kind of comes up at the same time. And goes, you see where those guys went? And we're like, oh, they're like in the alley over there. I have no idea. And the cop's like, what's going on? You know, there's like we got a report of like a group of people trying to steal this car. We're like, oh my God. So what ended up happening was that these 3 people, there's 2 guys and a larger lady, try to steal this car, which was a manual.
And they don't know
how to drive
5-speed, bro.
So they destroyed the clutch. And so they're trying to drive it down with a destroyed clutch, and they killed it in front of our house, and they just bolted. And so there was a guy in a Tacoma who was I think it was like the neighbor or friend of whoever owned that car, was like driving around the alleys, driving around the neighborhood trying to find him, and a cop car was like driving around trying to find him. They caught the lady because she got out earlier, like down the street, and couldn't run fast enough. So I think they caught her. I don't know if they caught the other 2, but literally, like, Jess has a picture on her phone of this guy, like, half naked running down the road with the flight, like, just like.
Send me that
if
you can. If Jess sends me that picture, we'll place that shit right here. Because holy fuck.
Like, one of the best parts is like our neighbor across the way, like in the picture, you can see he's got a big front window. He's sitting there with a bowl of cereal, just like staring out the window, like what the, like he's watching this shit show too. Yeah, he's just got a bowl of cereal.
Oh
like,
my God.
What the fuck is happening?
That would be me. I'd be all up in the cheese, man, just like.
Yeah. So
It went that way.
Yep. So in the 2 years we've been there, there's been like a Grand Theft Auto and like
that's Longview.
Yeah,
man. That's Longview.
Longview.
What'd you call it? The armpit of Washington.
The armpit of Washington. It's Spokane and Longview, like 1 and 2 there, on the opposite side of the scale.
Tell you what, man, we live in Gresham, and it's not fucking.
Yeah, no,
we're not winning any awards.
Yeah, I was gonna say Portland's in the race there too.
Yeah, we're not. We're not too far off track with you guys there.
Yeah.
Whatever department you're in, we're not too far down the hallway. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But yep, that was very
That's
interesting.
insane,
morning.
man.
We get back on the meeting, we're like, there was just a Grand Theft Auto in front of the house. Like,
Yeah, guys,
really?
What have you guys done this morning?
Yeah. We posted the picture in the chat, and they're like, your neighbor's eating cereal. Like, no. Like, oh shit, he is.
This is fucking good. That's was fucking say. Anyways, bro, we're fucking coming up.
Oh my
Coming up on 2 hours, so we're gonna record.
shit.
Dude, I want to fucking say thank you for fucking coming up because you're coming from
you for
Longview,
having
and it's
me,
not.
man.
I know it's a fucking drive.
I'm used to it. Being in Longview, you're like, if I want to get anywhere worth it, I gotta drive.
That's true. Even though there's some good fishing spots up your way, I gotta fucking pay you a visit up there and see.
There is some spots.
See what we can get ourselves into.
We could this fall. There's some salmon fishing in a small tributary that we could take your boat to.
Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do it.
We should.
I'm fucking
fun.
down.
Catch some coho, chinook.
I gotta get my my fucking Washington shit in
Oh
order,
yeah.
but I'll fucking do that shit. I
Yeah.
don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Plus, I mean, it's my Oregon will end in December, and I'll still have my Washington shit till April. 'Cause that's-
Also, it turns out I know how to fish for bass in Silver Lake, which is up there too.
Let's go. 2 birds, 1 rod.
Yep.
Anyways, bro, one time into this camera.
Yeah.
I'm Sean Evans. Well,
Copyright, man. Copyright.
I mean, Evans, Sean. Your socials. Where can we follow you at? What's your
Fish and forage.
Fish and Forage?
I have been very lax on my uploads. I do plan on changing that. I want to upload more, but fish and forage on
I'm
YouTube,
looking forward to your
Instagram,
uploads.
Facebook,
I'm looking-
I think.
I was looking at it today. Your Instagram is fish dot and dot forage.
Yep. And then YouTube is just
Fish and
Fish and
forage,
Forage,
I
yeah.
believe. I'm looking forward to seeing the videos that you make. I'm
I got
looking
it.
forward to maybe future collabs. You know,
we
me and
do
you.
need to camping. We need to go camping, dude. I got the truck and I got a truck tent and I got truck mattress. We can cuddle.
You know what? I wasn't on board until now.
I saw profiles. I was like, look
Profiles.
cuddly.
Hell no.
Y'all invited me. Y'all invited me, right?
You can be in the
Fuck
middle.
all that.
Yeah, you can be in the middle profile.
Yeah, bro. You get the best of both worlds.
Fuck that.
Hannah Montana. Anyways, guys,
no.
thank you guys so much for fucking watching. This has been the Go Deeper Podcast. You know you can follow us across all podcast streaming platforms and on YouTube if you guys like watching the videos. Follow Fish and Forage on all of his socials. Follow Profiles on profilesgotobigdick.com.
Follow PDX Fishing.
PDX Fishing. All
Mondo here.
we can buy merch on Amazon and coming soon, Go Deeper merch as well, baby.
Coming soon. At the time of this video.
At the time of
merch
this
on
video,
Amazon.
Hell
merch
yeah.
in the link in the description, baby. Let's fucking go. Thank you guys so much. Until next time.
Chinguen a su
Peace.
madre.
Chinguen a su madre. Let's get out of here.